Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Happy Tuesday to you. Let's get our heads right. I know it's hard to get your heads right. After a game like last night, I'll be honest, a little bit fussy about it, and we're only a week into the season, but that's just going to be the move this year. Excuse me. It just slipped right out. Sorry about that.
The alternative is, hey, guys, it's still early.
Yeah.
I'll take Fussy Woods.
You'll take Fussy Woods
over it's still early.
It's still early, Ben, over there.
We'll get to him.
Yeah, we'll see some turd polishing today, I can promise you. He won't look at me right now. I'm Woodsy. That is Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer and imaging director. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
It's good to have you here. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning. Big day. Big day for all of us.
Don't remind me.
I know.
Do not remind me.
How you guys feeling?
Just a terrifying situation going down at Petco Park. I wanted to tweet last night, hey, listen, don't worry. Ben and Woods are going to be in the house tomorrow. We're going to be throwing out the first pitch. The vibes will be immaculate. But I can't even say that it would be me, that would be false bravado on my part if I said, don't worry, we're coming in. Vibes are going to be great. You can't say that about this team. You just can't. You don't know. You know, I can't promise you that.
Do we not know?
That our vibes are going to change the course.
Do we not know exactly how last night was going to go?
Yeah, last night we knew how it was going to go. And you'd have to be a real moron to bet on the Padres last night
Just
after a blowout victory. Just a complete and total buffoon.
Were you not paying attention last year?
Right. Did you not pay attention at all?
The same guys.
Moron. Absolute moron he is. I am. We are. Yep. Good morning, Benny.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
Nervous?
I'm not nervous. I mean, we practiced yesterday for our ceremonial first pitch today.
Yeah, they dragged you in the replies a little bit.
Yeah, but I thought the results are what matters.
It's true.
That's what everyone tells me about the Padres.
Yeah.
They don't care about how they get there. They don't care about the hard-hit balls or the BABIP or anything.
Just get there.
It's just the results. And for the most part, my results were getting there.
Yeah, you only bounced one.
Only one out of like
two.
But out of 15, 20,
yeah, for sure.
They were mostly there. And the form doesn't matter. It's just you have to get it there. And I have no idea where my throwing form disappeared to. I look like
if you don't use it, you lose it.
I guess so, because I promise you, when I was growing up, Little League until age 15, for like 8-9 years, I was a pitcher. Like actual pitcher throwing the ball, had a repertoire of different pitches. And now,
many called him the Yu Darvish of his day.
And now I look like I've never thrown a baseball. I look like the guy who's just 50 Cent jumping in there. What are you doing?
Your front side flies open a little bit. Your lead leg goes a little left.
I see that. I'm watching you.
Your dad actually relayed me a message through your mom yesterday.
I think I got the same message.
Did you? On our Instagram DMs, and it said his dad says to get his arm up a little higher, which, by the way, is a classic dad.
But now I'm going to overthink everything.
Yeah.
The worry is I'm going to overthink it all.
Well,
I was getting the ball there. Should I just do what I know is going to get it there? Or should I think about form, try to make it look good, and risk the ball going in far-flung directions that I don't intend tonight?
I say let it rip.
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I would say, yeah, like Lance Lynn the other night. I read a quote from him. And he had given up 3 singles. He was pitching against the Dodgers, and he gave up 3 singles to start the game.
Did this quote come via our beloved Katie Wu?
It did not. I saw. Well, I think she did tweet it after the game. But guy gives up 3 straight singles to start the game. He's like, son of a bitch. It's gonna be one of those nights. And then he just thought, and I think he said it into his glove. Quote, F it. Let it rip. And I went, yes, that's the mentality. And he got out of the inning. I think he struck out the side after that. He just let it rip. So I think that's the plan for tonight.
I knew things were a little dicey when my wife said to me last night, I saw the video of you guys warming up for your first pitch. It was so hilarious. And I go, it wasn't supposed to be funny. There was no comedy intended in that video at all. It was simply a serious practice video. I was not I was not like putting on some sort of show, slapstick comedy of any sort.
Going through the comments here on X, is Ben throwing the first shot put? Ben's throwing motion reminds me of when I try to punch someone in a dream.
That was a good one. That was a really, really good one.
There were a few Phillip Rivers.
Without the bolo.
Yeah.
Don't wear flip-flops.
Yeah, he's definitely not wearing flip-flops.
No.
Phillip Rivers did not have...
Ben looks like he's throwing a javelin.
He did not have the most aesthetically pleasing look for a quarterback, right?
No.
He didn't have... When he dropped back to pass, you didn't go, God, he throws a beautiful ball.
No, it was no Marino. It was nothing like that.
I mean, just the poised... Marino from the ear, 70 yards downfield. Phillip was he almost had to lean down to the ground to sling it. And it was effective. Obviously, he threw for a lot of yards and he was an effective quarterback. But aesthetically, it was not good. There's another guy, and Dodger fans, I'm serious. I would take him on my team in a heartbeat. Freddie Freeman is one of the best hitters of our generation. He's phenomenal. He's the ugliest left-handed swing that I've ever seen in my entire life. It pains me to watch him swing from, the left side, which is where he swings from. Now, again, massively, massively effective. Incredibly effective, great hitter. When I look at it, though, I go, it's not aesthetically pleasing. I feel the same way about your pitch. But if the results are there, like Freddie Freeman, like Phillip Rivers, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
Just got to get there.
Just get it there.
Just got to get there once.
That's it. One time.
Just once. The problem is
they don't need 3 innings from you today.
The sample size is very small on a first pitch.
Very small.
It really, you could lock in, you don't get a chance to lock in and make it through, 6 innings later. Hey, I gave him a couple hits in the first, but ended up throwing pretty well, got through 6 innings. You get one toss, and that's it. Now, with the way the Padres have been starting games, perhaps we should actually throw the first pitch. Get them off to a better start. Try to, against Brendan Donovan.
Pitch to them.
Yeah, to Brendan Donovan or whoever the leadoff hitter for the Cardinals is going to be tonight. And take that off of Yu Darvish's plate because the first inning has been a problem
for
the San Diego Padres. We can each throw one pitch to Brendan Donovan, leadoff hitter for the St. Louis Cardinals, and see if we can get him out. 1, 2, 3.
No, that would be
one for each of us.
Home run, next guy, home run, next guy, home run. I mean... It's you think
don't leave me to face like Goldschmidt
No.
Later in the inning. That would be bad.
And Arenado, who's miraculously figured out his swing overnight against the Padres. I watched him against the Dodgers. He was lost completely. He's doing half swings. He shows up at Petco Park. The next thing you know, he's like the greatest hitter of all time. So we'll get into the Padres game. Certainly, we'll stress over the first pitch. We've got a great show for you today. Going to have an in-studio guest, Katie Wu, who I tweeted last night. She's going to be insufferable now that the Cardinals won.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Why do you say so? She's a professional. She doesn't cheer for the Cardinals. She covers the Cardinals.
It's such a blurred line, right?
It is.
No, it's for everybody. It's a blurred line. I mean, you're not supposed to root for the team you cover, but you're telling me that Don doesn't root for the Padres.
Don works for the Padres.
I get it.
I
get it.
I'm talking about actual sports writers from the newspaper or the Athletic. They do not root one way or the other. Some of them I've met actually root against the team.
That's true.
But they hate them so much.
The ones that cover the teams,
them.
I think somewhere inside they are rooting for
Katie,
them.
yes, because I've gone back and forth with her about,
we'll ask her.
The Cardinal way and all that. But you know what her answer's going to be. Her answer's going to be,
she didn't
impartial.
grow up as a Cardinals fan.
But if you're
she may be covering another team next year.
Tell me, Dennis Lynn wouldn't rather cover a first place, 96 win Padres team versus a 75 win Padres team?
Of course
he would.
It's better stories, better vibe, you know. But
they're the ones that have to be there every single day covering these teams.
And you get to know the guys, you pull for them. You can't help but pull for them. I can't imagine.
But sometimes you get to know the guys and you don't like them.
That's true.
Then they don't pull for them. They actually revel in their failures and write about their pratfalls and it can be good. It can be very good journalism as well. Investigating what's wrong with the team and be the guy who is, holds them accountable. And writers have led to managers and general managers losing their jobs because of, they stir up the fan base and create negative feelings. It happens all the time.
Okay, maybe maybe the bit is she just likes to see me suffer. That's the
probably
bit.
true.
Insufferable. She's going to be insufferable because she knows that I'm suffering with yet another lackluster performance last night from our ball club. So we'll see. We'll talk to her. She's going to be in studio at 9, and I'm going to just admonish the chat early. Just keep it clean. My God,
Literally typing something right now.
the last time she was here, or really any people act like they've never seen a woman before ever. They're just salivating and nasty comments. Block your ass quick. Paulie's gonna be on it. All right, like lightning.
I just gave him the warning.
And
I will turn off the chat.
Turn it off. You guys will lose this thing. All right? So act like you've been there before. Act like you've seen a woman before once in your life.
Said like a parent of 2 children.
Well, I'm a parent of 2 boys. I got to teach.
The threat of taking something away that they like.
Doesn't work. It's the most tired bit of all time because you never really follow up on it. I did throw some toys away recently.
Ooh.
I think my wife dug them out of the garbage. But my new bit is at home. If it's cleanup time and it's still on the floor, it goes in the trash. That's the new bit, which sucks because I should give those toys to an underprivileged child that would actually appreciate them, right? And so I just throw them in the. I throw them in the garbage can in the garage for effect. And I think my wife digs them out and puts them somewhere. But I did it last
You should
week.
have like a fake garbage
The fake
can.
garbage
It's
can
really
is-
just a toy
chest
holder, but
Yeah.
it's your dramatic throwing the toy away because it wasn't put away move.
Yeah, I don't mess around when it comes to, I'm screaming at them to clean up their stuff. They walk in, shoes go here, hat goes here, stuff goes everywhere. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Let's clean up. You guys go to school, you don't act this way. My kids, Bo is very good about cleaning up. Taylor is not. He is not a cleaner-upper. He is a little hurricane. And everywhere he goes, he leaves a trail in his wake. And so,
As are many 3-year-olds.
But we're not doing this. We're not doing this in my house. All right. So had to drop the hammer on him last night before bed, but I'm bad about the sticking through with the punishment, because you don't want to, it's not a boot camp in there. And I don't want it to feel like a boot camp, but I also don't want to be being the maid all night long. So that's what you run into as a parent. Had an elite day of parenting yesterday, though. Elite. One of those days where you look back, you're laying in bed, you go, that's right.
Crushed it.
Bo was home for spring break. Taylor went to preschool. And Hannah texted me during the show, and she goes, I feel so bad about leaving Taylor. And I said, why? I mean, he loves it. He plays with his friends. She goes, yeah, a lot of kids are on spring break with their families. So it's kind of like, it felt like very latchkey, just kind of there waiting. And I go, all right, I'll go pick him up. So I picked him up right after work. We all went to Jersey Mike's. We crushed some food. We went and played baseball in the street for like an hour and a half. It was amazing.
Were you ever a latchkey kid, or
Yeah,
were your
I was
parents
latchkey.
home when you got home?
I was latchkey.
You were?
Yeah.
My mom was usually home when I got home from school.
I was a latchkey kid for, cool, it's 5:30. I've been here since 7. This sucks. It was so bad. But they worked. What are you going to do? What's the alternative?
No judgment here.
No, I'm 8 years old, and I'm like, sun's going down. I'm getting a little hungry for dinner, and mom and dad aren't here yet. It was a tough scene.
I would have been fine as a latchkey kid. I was very trustworthy.
Yeah.
And would have never gotten into trouble. I feel like you may have gotten up to some mischief without parental supervision at times.
Once I turned 13 and was interested in girls, yeah, it was pretty nice to have the house to yourself, after school. You'd have friends over and do fun things.
Really?
Yeah.
But you had to make sure they were out of the house
Out of
by
the house. Like 4:35?
4:35, yeah.
Yeah, that was it. It's good days, good old days.
You now have to leave.
Yep.
It's time for you to leave now. And it's time for us to get going. Since we have an in-studio guest today, it means we got to accelerate the process a little bit. So we'll come back, set the menu for today's show, and get you going here on a Tuesday with Ben and Woods. It's the 97.3 The Fan Poncho giveaway. Ben and Woods' first pitch night at Petco Park. And we're all just a little bit nervous today on San Diego's #1 sports station. See how the traffic looks with Kelly Danick on a Tuesday on San Diego's #1 sports station. I just said that, 97.3 The Fan. Anybody see any good April Fool's Day pranks yesterday? You know I'm not a big fan.
I saw one that was brilliant. And it was a teenage girl, and she put a sign on her mother's car, the back of her mother's car, unbeknownst to her mother. And if anybody can find it and tweet it at us, I would appreciate it, because I couldn't find it for the fellas. It said, honk. It's an April Fool's Day prank on my mom. Honk and give her the finger. So this mom, and it's somewhere in the Midwest, and she's driving, and the girl's got, her phone running, filming her mom, and her mom is not looking over, and she's just driving. What? What the Christ? Why are you honking at me? And she finally, you know what? F you too. Finger goes out the window. 20 people have haunted me. What the Christ is going on? What the Christ? I mean, I was in tears, and I go, that's how it's done. That's what you do. If anybody saw that, we'll tweet it at Ben and Woods. I would really appreciate it, because I watched it 3 times. I'm like, man, I forgot to bookmark it so I could show you guys, but it was so good. As soon as I walked in the door yesterday, quiet house. As soon as I turned the corner, little demon seed, Bo, scared the crap out of me.
That's not an April
I
Fool's
know.
Day
And
joke.
then he goes, April Fools. I was like, beat it.
Lying in wait to scare someone
Scared
is
me to
not
death,
April
dude.
Fool's.
Scared me to death.
There has to be a certain amount of cleverness involved, like
That's
the car
clever.
sign.
I
There's a
found
lot
the
of
video.
cleverness
You found
there.
it?
I need give me.
You got to
I
edit
gotta
it,
edit
because
it.
there's a lot of F-bombs in it. But she's amazing. Amazing. And the daughter is great, but she keeps going, wow.
What the Christ?
Why do they, as everyone keep honking? I don't know. What did I do? I'm driving straight.
Very devious.
It's so good. So good. That's the only one I saw that was worth a flip. You saw sports teams trying to do bits. The Wave did one yesterday. Somebody stole our big soccer ball. We'd like it back. All right. I saw Jackson Merrill got sent down. Somebody tried to get me with that. I thought the Oakland A's were doing a prank yesterday. They sent down Estuary Ruiz. Caught a lot of grief.
He
for
was
that.
like one of their best players last year and was hitting 429 this year.
Sent him down.
Okay.
Yeah. Thought that was a prank. But I didn't.
Wouldn't that be sad if they called him in and said, we're sending you down, and he goes, you almost got me.
You almost
there.
got me, buddy.
You almost got me.
No.
April Fools. No,
we really are.
we're really sending you down.
Yeah, I saw. That was really all I saw. Did you see anything?
I did not really see anything yesterday, but again,
you
I'm
prank
not a big
anybody?
fan. No,
No,
of course not.
Of course not.
We have at Channel 10, we have like warnings every second because people will try to send us. The ultimate goal is to get an April Fool's Day story on to the local news.
Yeah, of course.
And so it's like 27 emails from our bosses every day. Triple check everything.
Every
today.
source, yeah.
Everything. Do not trust anything
Yep.
today. So we're very hyper vigilant
Yeah.
about that on April Fool's
Yeah,
Day.
we're the couple some of my radio heroes, DSC, Dave Shelley and Chainsaw. Rickards did a bit here years ago that got the entire city in panic and I mean just went for it, and it really, Dave, ruined it for the rest of us.
Now
Not that
no one's
would.
allowed to
Now
do
we're
it
not really
anymore.
allowed to do anything. It was before my time here, but
But
it
he
was,
didn't hurt anybody. He
No,
wasn't
no,
out.
but it was like some landing or something.
Yeah, they said the space shuttle was going to land
at
at
Qualcomm
the
or something.
no, Montgomery Field,
Montgomery
right
Field.
over here across from our station.
Coup d'etat to everybody.
Which would be unbelievable. The reason the space shuttle had to land out in the desert is because they need like a 10 times
Yeah.
long runway because it's coming in so hot from outer space. Montgomery Field's a tiny little airport for tiny little planes. There's no way they could do the space shuttle there. But yeah, people believed it. They like started coming out to see the landing and wait for it, and they pulled the wool over everybody on April Fool's Day.
It's a great one. It's a great one, and it put them on the map forever, and they probably got in deep trouble for that bit. But I've always loved Dave.
Or were they the reason now that anybody else will get in trouble?
Potentially. But yeah, people are talking about it in the chat. They remember it. Traffic was crazy that day. Like they changed San Diego for a day, like with the power of their voices, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
You're so jealous.
You have
so
no
jealous.
idea. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like the thought of that and then the ability to pull it off.
I mean,
yes.
I'm very glad that our first pitch is today and not yesterday, because if it was yesterday, I would totally think we're showing up and there's a giant prank going to be pulled on us.
Me too.
At the Padres
I
game.
thought that last night. Like, had they said April 1st, I would have said, yeah, I don't believe you. I don't believe they're going to pants us live on the field. So there's something's going to happen. It's not going to be great. So, but no, we'll. Benny, why don't you set the menu for everybody?
All right, here's what we've got coming up. We'll start with our main dish right away as we get into last night's Padres 6-2 loss to the St. Louis Cardinals. And I did see some early panicking going on after the low offensive output of the game. We'll discuss your level of concern right now for your 3-4 San Diego Padres. Coming up, Matt Waldron's performance. A very typical Padres from last year. Score 13 one day and then 2 runs on 4 hits the next day. But there were some good moments as well. We'll talk about Jackson Merrill, Fernando Tatis Jr., some nice work from a couple of guys out of the bullpen as well. So we'll get to that coming up next. At 7 o'clock, I think we all took some time out. Oh, do you have something to add?
Just do your thing.
Okay.
Right. At 7 o'clock, we all took some time out yesterday to watch NCAA women's basketball, which I don't think we've ever collectively done as a show, but the Iowa game against LSU kind of captured the attention of the nation. Caitlin Clark against Angel Reese. It did not disappoint. It was a good basketball game.
Till the end, yeah.
Caitlin Clark stepped up, though. We'll talk about what has become a phenomenon right now in sports, and that is the Caitlin Clark story and saga. She tries to lead Iowa to a national championship and a run through the NCAA tournament. Play Take on Woods. Don't Do This is back, as always, in our 7 o'clock hour. We'll get to some more Padres talk and maybe some phone calls later in that hour. And then in the second half of the show, we get very busy. We got another pair of Clapton tickets to give away, and then it's going to be Jesse Agler doing TV this week, but should be good for the Incorporator for the first time this year as the voice of the Padres joins us at 8:35. And as Woods mentioned, in studio, our final hour, covering the St. Louis Cardinals, so in town with the Athletic. Our good friend Katie Woo is going to be here to talk baseball, talk Cardinals, hang out with us for the last hour of the show, and always look forward to a good Katie Woo visit here on Ben and Woods.
You and I both, man. Love Katie Woo.
All right, so we'll come back with our Padres wrap-up.
I was able to get that audio.
Oh, good.
edited.
Oh, you did.
Let's play that when we come back.
Yep.
And then we'll get into the Padres wrap-up right after that. So April Fool's prank that Woods found, that was a pretty good one. And then our Padres wrap-up coming up next. Do not go anywhere. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Our editing wizard, Paulie Reindl, coming through once again. Ben had asked me if I saw any good pranks yesterday on April Fool's Day, and I said I just saw one, and it was making the rounds on Twitter. This girl makes a cardboard sign. I'd say maybe 10 inches by 10 inches, so it wasn't huge, and sticks it on the back of her mom's car, unbeknownst to her mom, and it says, honk and give us the middle finger, April Fool's prank on my mom. So mom is just driving normal, and people keep honking at her and giving her the bird. And she starts to lose her mind.
The daughter's like hiding the phone.
She's hiding the phone down
to
get the reaction.
Yep.
And is also egging her mother on. Oh, what's going on? Why do they keep honking, Mom? And it's spectacular. Now, think about this. Where is this accent from?
The hell? I didn't do nothing wrong. What did I do? I didn't do a bloody thing wrong.
Why is everyone honking?
I have no idea. This is the weirdest thing. That guy gave me the finger. Goof, I'll honk at him. You. How about that? How about that, goof face? The did I do? Idiot.
It's so weird.
What the hell? I didn't do one damn thing wrong. That's why people go through road rage. What did I do? I'm going straight down the bloody road. Like, get lost.
Okay, it's fine. It's probably just some cranky people.
Cranky? What the hell's cranky? It's a beautiful day. Be cranky for.
More?
There is.
There's more. Yeah,
There's only so much you can edit in a brief amount of time.
Yeah.
No, that video is not sped up. That's how her mother actually talks. She talks like this. I was like, did she do a line or something?
Was it inverted? Because it looked like she was on the driving on the passenger side, like she was in England.
That's not it.
But that's just the camera inversion, right?
Reverse.
She was also using the term bloody, which is
bloody
English term as
I
well.
didn't do nothing
But it
wrong.
wasn't a
What did I
British
do?
accent.
I didn't do a bloody thing wrong.
It's so good. It's so funny. It was really, really good.
I don't even know if they celebrate April Fool's Day in England. Probably
Goof,
not.
I'll honk at him.
Well, it's
You. How about that?
It's not British.
I don't think so.
It's not British.
How about that? How about that, goof?
Goof
face?
Goof face.
Goof face.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, Upper East Coast, maybe. Yeah, maybe somewhere around there.
Buffalo, somewhere like
potentially.
that, maybe.
I really need to know. All right, let's wrap this.
All right, we will check traffic, and then we'll come back. It's been a while, but we got the losing open for our Padres wrap-up, and we'll get into last night's game next here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, some relief for you on southbound 5 before Imperial. All lanes now open. The 4 left lanes were shut down for a while, all due to investigation of a fatal accident which a pedestrian was struck. But yeah, lanes now open. We're still seeing quite a bit of leftover slowing, so you want to still give yourself plenty of extra time, especially if you need to head over to Coronado. South 5 before Imperial, all lanes now open. Fortunately, no other problems on our roads this time. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
Oh, a shame indeed.
It's a complete crap.
Oh, I did not like that.
Here are the lowlights from yesterday's game.
Are you kidding me?
Boo.
It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
It's not your fault.
2-2 to Arenado. Line drive into left field, base hit. Donovan is going to be sent around third. He's going to score, and the Cardinals have a 1-0 lead here in the top of the first on the 2-out RBI double for Nolan Arenado. 1-2 pitch, fly ball to center field. Pretty well hit. Jackson Merrill going back. He's racing back. He's at the wall, looks up. It's gone. 2-run home run for Wilson Contreras. His first home run of the season gives the Cardinals a 3-0 lead here in the first. The bar's been raised. Swung on. Line drive, base hit into left field. They're going to send Donovan. Profar has no play, and the Cardinals now have a 4-0 lead here in the second. First pitch of Jackson swinging. Line drive, left field, pretty well hit. Going back is Donovan. It is going to be gone. First big league home run for Jackson Merrill, an opposite field blast. Padres now trail the Cardinals 4-1.
I mean, it felt pretty good. First homer always feels good, but I'm not really focused on the homer right now. I'm focused on the scoreboard at the end of the game. It's the most important thing that just happened. So cool moment, really cool to take in, and really good crowd to do it in front of, but it's not where my main thoughts are right now.
3-1, swung on, driven to right field. Going back is Fernando. He's at the warning track. He looks up. It's gone. 2-run home run for Brendan Donovan, and he has been big-time damage for the Padres tonight. It's his third hit of the evening, a single, a double, now a 2-run home run in the sixth, and the Cardinals have a 6-1 lead. 2-2 swung on, driven to left field and deep. Going back for it is Donovan. He's at the wall. He looks up. It's gone. Second deck for Fernando. Padres now trail this ball game 6-2 on the third home run of the season for El Nino. First pitch, swung on, fouled right in front of the plate. Is it a fair ball? Yes, it is. Swinging bunt that landed literally 12 inches in front of home plate. Contreras just walked out there, grabbed it, tagged out Ha-Seong Kim, and that's the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, that's all comes down to the results. We didn't, we did a lot of things really well, but not enough of them. They played a good ball game, and, we came up short. So it's really just keep it as simple as that.
All right.
Padres fall to the St. Louis Cardinals 6-2, and for the third time this season in their 4 losses, early offense allowed was a problem. Twice now they've given up 3 runs in the first inning. Joe did it once, now Matt Waldron, and then Dylan Cease gave up the 2 runs in the second inning of his loss. And the Padres putting themselves down early and in position where they have to come back, which is not impossible, but always a tougher road to hoe when you're digging an early hole, which they did again last night.
Yeah, they did. And again, we said yesterday, hey, this will be interesting to see. They had passed kind of one of the roadblocks that we were interested in them, passing. And then yesterday's roadblock, of course, was the feast or famine thing that you just don't want to be, you don't want to happen again. That was a really tough way for those guys to play, tough way to enjoy as a fan, really. I mean, you can never really say with any certainty, oh, they're breaking out, they're busting out, the bats are heating up, because the next day, bats go into the crapper again. And that's a really... I don't know what it is, man. Is it just one of those funky baseball things? Is it a lack? I hate to sit here and say, well, they weren't focused and ready to play. But when it's Kyle Gibson on the mound, Ben, and Kyle Gibson gave up, as Jesse said last night, more hits than anyone in Major League Baseball last year. He is 37 years old. And you let Kyle Gibson come into your house and throw 7 innings of pretty good baseball against you, topping out at 91, 92. That is a guy that you should feast on.
So we had a bit of a difference of opinion, and I know a lot of Padres fans don't agree with me or don't want to see it. I mean, the Padres I didn't think they had a horrible approach last night at the plate. They put the ball in play. They only struck out 5 times. Cardinals struck out 13 times. Yeah. Padres put the ball in play, just hitting it right at people. They had a bunch of diving catches. Jordan Walker made a sensational catch, robbing. There was a great catch in left field as well. When you look at the hard hit balls, you thought, the Cardinals are pounding it all around the yard. No. It was even, actually, in terms of the hard hit over 95 mile an hour exit velocity balls last night. And the Padres gave up way too many of them, but the Cardinals didn't dominate. It's just all their balls fell in. They were hitting over 600 their BABIP, whereas the Padres were hitting under 100 on the balls that they were putting into play.
Now, BABIP, for those of you that don't know,
batting average on balls in play.
The higher your BABIP means... Well, the balls that they're hitting should fall. Is that expected batting average?
The expected batting average factors in how hard you hit it and where it's going. But BABIP is simply, a bit of a factor of luck. And the Padres had a bit of an unlucky game last night because they hit the balls where the defenders were, and the Cardinals hit the balls where the defenders weren't. Now, it's not so simple. Cardinals did some things well. They had a couple of bunt hits, got a little lucky on a Matt Carpenter blooper right in the middle of the diamond that turned into a hit.
I mean, you got to go get that ball.
Things went well for the Cardinals. They didn't go that well for the Padres. But I don't view yesterday's game as a giant symptom of the Padres' offense being just like last year. The Padres' offense has been quite good this year. If you go up and down their lineup, most of the guys are off to really good starts. It's the pitching that's been concerning to me. The starting pitching has been not what we've expected. Now, it's just one time through the rotation, essentially, with an extra start for you and for Joe Musgrove. But one time through the rotation, it looked like with the addition of Dylan Cease, the starting pitching would be a clear strength for the Padres this year. And they haven't even gotten a pitcher to get through 6 innings. I mean, they're not getting any length. They're not getting any really domination. Darvish has been pretty good in his starts, but it just was not a good first trip through the rotation for the San Diego Padres. They're going to need much better from their starting pitching. They need guys to go deeper. They can't tax their bullpen like they've been doing. But again, I can't say just one time through, well, Yeah, they didn't put together a very good rotation. I expect Dylan Cease is going to have some good starts. What we saw from Michael King, spring training, I think these guys are going to be fine. Mike Schultz said last night, I have all the confidence in the world in my starting pitching. I'm not going to worry about the starting pitching, but that's been the issue for this 3-4 start for the Padres. They just haven't gotten enough from their starting pitchers. It's not really the offense that I'm worried about at the moment. Could they use another bat? Sure.
I'm slightly worried about. I mean, look, the solo shots are great. Really nice moment for Jackson Merrill last night. Let's not brush past that. Really, really nice moment. Goes Oppo, and it was a tank, no question. Nice to see Fernando Tatis Jr. driving the baseball. All of these home runs though are solo shots. Guys are not getting on, and they're not doing damage when guys are on. Ben, what did they do? Runners in scoring position last night. I don't think it was very good.
They were 0 for 1.
Oh, okay, yeah, one guy in scoring position. I mean, that's also a problem because guys aren't getting into scoring position to give you the ability to score runs. So yeah, they did put the ball in play. The Cardinals made a ton of plays last night. Really, really nice plays, but there's just something also about having to climb out of a 3-0 hole before you've put your batting gloves on, and that's on Matt Waldron. The knuckle ball did not knuckle very well. Wilson Contreras just yanked one out of the yard, and next thing you know, man, you're down 3-0. It was a tough look. A couple other little things to pick apart was that fly ball in the infield. Matt Waldron's just got to go get that. He's got to know where his third baseman is. He's got to know where his shortstop is, and know that, hey man, I can catch a fly ball that's 40 feet in the air, drops untouched, and next thing you know, Cardinals are off and running.
I can't sit here and say this is going to be the tone for the season, of course, but it was like a little PTSD from last year to just see a average at best pitcher looking like a Cy Young winner out there.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
It's tough.
Is so especially at home.
There's a killer instinct I think that teams have, and maybe we just haven't found ours yet. But there's a killer instinct. When you saw last night the team up north, faced a young kid, and they ate his lunch. They just ate his lunch. And I mean, 1 through 9 just said, you will not beat us tonight. And the Padres haven't really found that identity yet as a team. I'm not saying they're out there being selfish and taking selfish at bats, because I have seen this year, in a very small sample size, I have seen guys put together better ABs. The later the game went, though, I saw the quality of ABs diminish. The later the game went, I really did. I'm like, oh, okay, so we're gonna hack, weekly rollover on a slider away for a double play to kind of kill any sort of momentum. And look, you're facing a big league team. They've got good arms too. You're gonna lose some games, certainly. Last night was just kind of almost expected after the feast that we had the night before. You've got to find a way to minimize that feast or famine attitude that this team has had. I fully expect them to go out today and score 10 runs. It's the way that it's gone, and you don't want to get in that cycle again. You just don't. I mean, it's just the up and down, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Like we're well on our way, guys. And I know it's only been 6 games, but we're on our way to that again, and that's not something I think anybody wants.
Bullpen once again a bit mixed. Even with Johnny Brito, who gave up the only runs in the pen, he had a good first inning when he came in and got out of a jam and kept it a game in the 5th, but then gave up the 2-run home run to Donovan. And the long ball, a problem for Brito so far this year. Cola got into a lot of trouble, but got out of it and ended up pitching 2 scoreless innings. A good battling from him. And then De Los Santos and Cosgrove both looked really good. De Los Santos is off to a good start.
Yep.
Good to see Cosgrove get back on the horse after his tough outing over the weekend to throw a solid 1-2-3 inning later in the game. But, ultimately, falling behind, as you said early, is never going to be a good recipe for winning. And I've heard, knuckleballers talk before. And again, I know Matt Waldron throws other pitches, and maybe he threw too many knuckleballs. I think everyone's been saying, let's see that more. That pitch, that knuckleball is nasty. I want to see more of it. Well, he threw the most knuckleballs he's ever thrown last night. It was close to 50% knuckleballs last night. By far his highest percentage usage since he's been a major leaguer with the Padres. But he floated a couple of them that didn't knuckle, that were up in the zone, and those are going to get punished.
Yeah, Mud was talking about last night how he gets the fingers when it starts to roll. man, when that thing when that has revolutions on it, it's just like, oh, here's a BP fastball for you down the middle, and then you sit back and you see it spin a couple times. You're like, I'm in good shape. And he threw a couple that were nasty. I mean, straight up nasty. Campy couldn't catch it. They were filthy. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the.
But I've also heard that sometimes you're a little amped up. First inning that can actually hurt the knuckleball. That extra adrenaline makes it harder to take the spin off, and we did see a couple of those knucklers float with 2 outs in the first inning to both Arenado and Contreras, and just like that, it's a 3-0 game. So you've got to be careful, certainly, in that situation. And knuckleballers have such a fine line between success and just utter failure in Major League Baseball. That's why not many guys do it. It's a tough lifestyle.
That's why he's the only one.
Yeah.
I think he's
the only one
still doing it. And it's fun when it works, and when it doesn't work, it's not. It's funny because when it is effective, and they were talking about this on the broadcast too last night, is when it is effective, and you saw it because he struck out 7 guys.
7 strikeouts, only 1 walk. I see in the chat he's not a Major League Baseball pitcher. Guys who aren't in the major leagues don't come back then. Strike out 7, walk only 1. He's got the stuff to get batters out.
He does.
He just has very little margin for error, as all knuckleballers do. And if you throw a bad knuckleball, it's just going to get smoked.
He said, Mud was talking about how that 91, the 92 looks like 101. I mean, and it does. You're floating that thing in. The next one is boop, dotted on the corner. You can't get ready for that. You just can't get ready for it. So when effective, I think, and listen, I'm not going to pull the lever on Matt Waldron yet. I think, I think he deserves another start, certainly. And I don't know. The other thing, too, conversely, is if he doesn't get another start, what is his role then? Think about that. So fast forward the tape as we tell you to do. So now if you said, all right, Johnny Brito is going to start the next go-around in the 5 spot.
Well, I mean, why would you not give Matt Waldron another start?
I think you do.
I mean, if you're pulling Matt Waldron, then you got to pull Joe Musgrove, and you got to pull Michael King from the rotation as well, because they were just as ineffective as Matt Waldron was, and you're not going to do that.
I do think if you have a knuckleballer on your team, he's a starting pitcher. Yes, I
agree.
You don't necessarily,
or just a mop up absolute.
Which we have one of how many
reliever.
How many mop up guys
Just one.
do we need? I think one will suffice. But listen, he was able to give us a little bit of length last night. Was able to get some strikeouts, but yeah, the first inning just kind of killed him, and it happens. We flush it. We move on to today, where we'll get to see our beloved Yu Darvish. Hopefully, go out and carve these guys up. But exactly what I said cannot happen happened, and you let some of the guys that had been really struggling, like Nolan Arenado, you let him get you last night, and it was just a matter of time till he was going to come around. But man, you hate to see it happen at Petco Park.
You hate to see 2 hits from Matt Carpenter, even if they never leave the infield.
Did you see the?
I mean, he had months last year where he didn't have 2 hits.
Did you see my tweet last night?
Matched the season total of hits.
All right. So listen to this. He was 2 for 2 to start the game. The exit velocities of those balls 33.5 and 43.9 miles an hour.
Bunt.
Swinging bunt, pop fly.
Crushed it.
Even Cardinals fans were mad that he's in their lineup already. They've had some injuries that
they're
already
livid.
pushed them there.
But
They're
livid.
They did not want to see him there
and
either.
again, Brito's out there throwing him sliders. I'm like, throw your 97 by it. He can't hit it. What are you doing?
I've got one more observation I want to make from the game, and then we've got Take on Woods. Want to talk a little bit about the college basketball last night as well. Hour number 2 of Ben and Woods coming up next year on The Fan. So it was a pretty nothing moment, but there was one thing that happened in the game that I was disappointed by for the San Diego Padres yesterday. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Ben and Woods. So do you remember when Johnny Brito was in and Mason Wynn was on first base, and they had already gone over there twice? So you couldn't disengage again without risking the balk. And Wynn actually jumped the gun. He started going, and he was like, it was almost like a quarter of the way between first and second base. At that point, no one said anything to Brito. Like, they could have picked him off. You're allowed to disengage again.
Oh, yeah.
And if he had and thrown over to first quickly, he would have been a dead duck. But instead, he just sat there on the mound and eventually threw the pitch, allowing Mason Wynn to steal the base without even a throw. It was so easy. And you've got to have enough communication, among your team to say, hey, you've got to throw over quickly right now. Even if it's been 2 disengagements, hey, if he gets to second on a third disengagement, it's no different than getting to second because you're letting him steal second base.
Right.
You might as well try to pick him off in that point. He is so far off first base. There's no reason not to go over there and give it a try. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But you're giving him second base anyway, so you might as well pick him off.
Yeah.
And I know it's a tiny thing, but with the new rules, and I know we're in the second season now, you really have to have good communication, especially in a situation like that. And felt like, what are you doing here? He's literally a quarter of the way between first and second base. He is hung out to dry. If you step off the mound and throw it over to first, you can pick him off, and that's legal still. It's not an automatic balk. It just is a balk if you don't pick him off at that point. So that was a tiny moment, but I was disappointed in the lack of communication where they just basically let Mason Wynn steal second base in that situation.
What happened on the replay? Because they got to challenge two replays?
You can challenge as much as you want on the same play.
On the same play,
yeah,
okay.
Without using extra challenges.
Okay.
And if any of them are successful, you get to keep your challenge. So if there's ever play in which there's more than one thing that's close, it's kind of a good idea to challenge there because you're basically getting a little more bang for your buck.
What if you win one, lose one?
You still get to keep your challenge. Exactly.
Right,
you have to lose both of them to lose your challenge.
To lose the challenge.
And the Cardinals didn't win the challenge at second base, which I didn't think they were going to. It looked like Ha-Seong Kim was on the bag. But, their real challenge was at first, which was the very close play and turned out to be safe there. But might as well challenge the play at second. You can't, if you don't say anything, they're not going to look at it.
Okay.
And since it costs you nothing, you just have them look at whatever play is out there as long as you're challenged.
Yeah, I was like putting the kids to bed, and I came back and I looked at Twitter and like, what the hell? We challenged. I'm like, what?
It's funny because that challenge I thought was correct. He was safe at first base, got there just before. Why is it when the Padres challenge something, and it seems like it's always an obvious overturn, like the foul ball,
right? Yeah,
that didn't hit. Who was the batter that?
Oh, Wilson Contreras.
And you look at now I see the replay, and it went off his bat, not his hand. That's an easy overturn, and then they never do. It just always seems to be the Padres on these replays.
Somebody needs to pull the not replay like wins and losses, and people track that stuff. I'm not one of them. I feel like we never win replays.
It's not like, well, our managers don't know what they're doing or our replay guys don't know what they're doing. When I see them, I agree with them.
Good challenge.
Good challenge. That was right. And then the umpires come back and they go, no, we can't overturn that, or it's confirmed, or it stands. It's like, are you watching the same replays that we're watching?
That one was wild to me. It was like an optical illusion. And he swung, and he sold it well. It's Wilson Contreras. He does that. He annoys me. He always has. But he's a good baseball player.
I have no doubt that he kind of felt it going by really close, but it looked like
it hit all bat.
It looked like it hit all bat.
How do you not? Well, and the other thing too is sometimes these guys get hit on the hand, and it sounds like the bat, or they get hit on the bat, and it sounds like the hand. So I don't know. Good sell job. Something tells me Wilson Contreras is fine. He's going to be in the lineup today. I did see yesterday Josh Young, Rangers catcher, wore one in the wrist. He has a fractured wrist. He's going to be out for a while. That's a tough look. Old friend Phil Maton struggled to find the zone, ended up hitting Adolis Garcia, which is maybe the last person in baseball I would hit. with a slider, hit him in the hand. Josh Young comes up next, hits him in the hand, breaks his wrist. So not a good scene for the Rangers.
Need a contestant for Take on Woods. New prize this month. No qualifiers yet. Trip to Las Vegas. Cool in the Gang tickets. Call now, 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Musical trivia against Woods coming up here in just a minute. Did watch last night's women's basketball Elite Eight. Iowa against LSU. Lot of hype going into this game.
Oh, yeah.
Caitlin Clark, I mean, we've all heard, I've seen the highlights, I've watched a little bit, but I hadn't really sat down and watched a whole game. And I kind of expected, all right, you get this much hype, it's going to be this is going to be disappointing, right? Was not. She was fantastic. 41 points, 12 assists. I mean, you could say, yeah, she put up 23-point shots, she's going to score, but she also was finding open teammates for easy layups. She did everything. She accounted
the
for
all-time assist leader.
Yeah, she accounted for so many points. She just had a phenomenal game. And Angel Reese wasn't bad at all. She's a great player. 16 points, 20 rebounds.
20 boards, man.
When the range that Caitlin Clark has that just makes it so
absurd.
Captivating. You know, Steph Curry-like range from the
You like Steph Curry.
from the logo. I like Steph Curry,
Curry.
And Caitlin Clark is very intriguing to be sure.
She was. They were talking about. I mean, she got a little bit sloppy. I watched all of the first half and then a lot of the second half. Her passing, like she was giving LSU free buckets. It got real sloppy there for a moment. She was going behind the back, and LSU was like, all right,
lobbing them in.
Yeah,
nothing happening.
But it was cool, man. Like I hadn't watched a ton. Obviously, I don't watch men's basketball that much either. So, but to put that game on and. It really did not disappoint until, the end when it got away. But they're talking about it on the broadcast. The pacing of that game gave me anxiety. And I was getting tired watching them just it just didn't stop.
In the history of the NCAA tournament, men's or women's, there have only been 2 games ever where a player has had 40-plus points and 10-plus assists. Caitlin Clark last night. You know who has the other one? Caitlin Clark. That's both of them in the history of the NCAA tournament. So
Angel Reese started off real hot offensively, and then she rolled her ankle.
She rolled her ankle.
Or something,
yeah, she was hurt. She didn't make excuses, but yeah.
No, she didn't make. I mean, she still had 20 boards on the night. She just could not play her game the rest of the way.
I thought for all the hype around Kim Mulkey, the outrageous coach for LSU, they did not make any adjustments on. They just put hey, you guard her. Like, you don't have anything else, a box and one. You got something up your sleeve to try to slow her down. I was surprised by that. They just kind of let Caitlin Clark do her thing and get her shots.
I think it was maybe the ESPN halftime show. They were talking about how LSU kept going under all of the screens, and that's just giving Caitlin Clark an extra 3 feet to rain threes on you. And if they're noticing that in the studio in Bristol or wherever, the coaches need to notice that.
Yeah, for sure.
You cannot go under those screens. You have to get around. You have to get a hand in her face. Otherwise, I mean, even then, she's still probably going to make more than she's going to miss. But at least you're doing something to contest. They're giving her wide open shots.
Her range is insane.
It's
some of the threes that she buried. You have to have breaking news here, Ben. Shout out to his family, maybe. Did you see this?
I just saw in our chat. I was looking for some official confirmation.
Peter Gammons tweeted it, so I think that would probably be a fairly good source.
Padres Hall of Famer
recent
Larry Lucchino has passed away.
Yep.
which is sad. Larry battled a number of health challenges, but is a legendary executive in the game of baseball, not only here, but before
Boston.
Came to the Padres and Baltimore as well, I think. Didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was inducted into the Padres Hall of Fame just a couple of years ago, I believe.
It was last year, wasn't it?
Was part of the was it last year? Part of the John Moore's group that saved baseball in San Diego, built Petco Park, and his impact on this community will always be felt. Anytime you go down to the East Village, down to a game, anytime you see all the restaurants and hotels and everything that's going on down there, know that Larry Lucchino had a big hand in that. Had a chance to know him a little bit, dinner with him a couple of times when I was doing Padres pre- and post-game show. Was a smart, interesting, and a really nice guy that I enjoyed getting the chance to know a little bit, and he will definitely be missed.
Well, you know how we do it.
And I really hope we can see more unity and more peace when already things are so difficult.
It's true.
So, shout out to his family.
Rest in peace to Larry Lucchino, Padres Hall of Famer. And now, of course, the awkward transition
Very awkward.
to
Take on
Woods.
Hey!
All right, let's see. We got Ron on the line. Ron, are you there?
Hi.
You are our contestant today on Take on Woods, which is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. And we are playing, try to qualify you for our new prize. 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino and 2 tickets to Kool and the Gang, back by popular demand after multiple sold-out shows. The legendary funk group Kool and the Gang returning to the stage at the Westgate Las Vegas residency through 2024. Tickets are available now at Ticketmaster.com. It's the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. Simply the best. All right, Ron, here are your categories today for Take on Woods. We've got Chow Time, musical artists and song titles including the word eat. Creatures of the Cold, 5 musical answers that have animals you'd find in snowy climates. And You Are My Sunshine. Those are 5 musical answers, including the word sunshine, and they're all different from the 2-second song edition of Sunshine that we had yesterday. So, Ron, Chow Time, Creatures of the Cold, or You Are My Sunshine. What would you like to play?
Oh, Ron. I cannot hear you, Ron.
Nope. Oh, that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
Call in 833-288-0973.
0973 or call back Ron or something of the sort.
Don't you love this?
Yeah, this is always awkward. It's my biggest gripe with modern technology. The phones have gotten more and more advanced over the years, and yet the cell phone quality still seems to be stuck in 1992. And we just never seem to get better cell phone quality.
Give us a call right now if you want to take on Woods.
Plus, then we've got the little delay, so people are not hearing us right away, asking for another contestant, which just brings everything to a complete
We just
halt.
sit here in silence.
All right, we've always got Guy in Bay Park. Go ahead and put Guy on. Guy, thank you for saving us here. Look at everyone calling in now. All right, you get to be our
Take
contestant
someone else,
today.
man. That's fine. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're in. I need you today badly, guys. So let's just get right to the categories again. Chow Time, Creatures of the Cold, or You Are My Sunshine.
Let's go Creatures of the Cold.
Creatures of the Cold. All right, we got 5 musical answers, artists, and song titles that include animals you will find in snowy or cold weather climates. 60 seconds, as many as you can of the 5. Pass if you don't know an answer. Then Woods will come in. We'll compare your score to his, see if we can qualify you for Las Vegas. All right, first question, 2-second song. Paulie's about to play some music. You know how it works. Title and the artist to score the point. Paul, you ready? Yes. All right, 60 seconds on the clock. Guy, the category Creatures of the Cold. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Guy. Let's take on Woods.
Like the Wolf Duran.
Correct. I think you're kind of crazy if you don't like this British artist, also known for his 1994 hit Kiss from a Rose.
That's Seal.
Correct. Which 1967 Beatles song includes strange lyrics like Sitting on a Cornflake and Yellow Matter Custard Dripping from a Dead Dog's Eye?
I Am the Walrus.
Correct. 10 years ago, parents around the world were getting very tired of their kids asking to hear which hit song by Norwegian comedy duo Ylvis.
Is that Baby Shark?
Incorrect. Which 50s band was best known for their 1954 hit Earth Angel, famously performed by Marvin Berry and the Starlights at the 1955 Enchantment Under the Sea dance?
Say it again. I kind of cut the first
Which
part of that
50s
up.
band was best known for their 54 hit Earth Angel, famously performed by Marvin Berry and the Starlights at the 1955 Enchantment Under the Sea dance? Time is up. That was the Penguins, and the comedy duo did What Does the Fox Say? You got the first 3, Hungry Like the Wolf, Seal, and I Am the Walrus. Let's bring Woods back in. 3 is the score to beat. We had some phone issues, so we had a replacement contestant. That's why it took a little long. So you're going up against Guy.
Oh,
60 seconds
my
on the clock.
nemesis.
Woods doesn't get the category.
He's our, ace.
He is the ace in the hole.
Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Woods. Let's take on Guy.
Hungry Like the Wolf, Duran Duran.
Correct. I think you're kind of crazy if you don't like this British artist, also known for his 1994 hit Kiss from a Rose.
Seal.
Correct. Which 1967 Beatles song includes strange lyrics like sitting on a cornflake and yellow matter custard dripping from a dead dog's eye.
Let your knickers down. I'm the Walrus.
Correct. 10 years ago, parents around the world were getting very tired of their kids asking to hear which hit song by Norwegian comedy duo Ylvis.
Baby Shark.
Incorrect. Which 50s band was best known for their 1954 hit Earth Angel, famously performed by Marvin Berry and the Starlights at the 1955 Enchantment Under the Sea dance?
So who really sang
Yes.
it? Earth Angel, Earth Angel.
Will you be mine, my darling?
Something with an animal of some sort?
Love you.
The Panthers. I have no idea.
Really close.
You got the P right. So it was
Pandas.
It was snowy animals. So we had wolf, seal, walrus. What does the fox say? Is the comedy duo,
Quite
not
possibly
Baby
the
Shark.
word. Like, what does the fox say makes Baby Shark sound like Stevie Wonder?
That is spoken from someone that has no children.
And then
two boys.
but not the panther,
that
the penguins.
love Baby Shark. Baby Shark, doo 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 doo.
I like Baby Shark
Oh,
better
my-
than What Does the Fox Say?
What's the fox say? I don't know if we have that one.
Oh, you don't remember that one?
I don't know
What
if it
does
made.
the fox say? It's literally just that for like
Sounds
4
awesome.
minutes. It's
What is Baby Shark? Baby Shark, doo 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 doo. Baby Shark, doo 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 doo. Grandpa Shark, over and over and over.
It's repetitive,
It's not
for
worse.
sure.
Over and over.
it's
and
not
over.
worse than the fox.
But yeah,
Over
last
and
one was
over.
the penguins.
The Penguins.
Earth Angel. Yeah,
Did
that's a
not
tough
know
one.
that. Did I
3-3.
lose?
So,
Oh,
Guy,
tie. Woo.
it's a tie. You got the same ones correct. You had the same answer wrong, and you had the same answer you didn't know. So,
Boy.
Guy, good enough. You're in. Qualified for the month of April here for our trip to Las Vegas.
I can't get enough of Hungry Like the Wolf, by the way.
That's
that
great.
song just slays.
Great song.
Slays.
All right, we'll come back. Don't Do This is coming up next.
I sent Paulie some audio that you're going to definitely want to hear. And obviously, do this. The first one of the season, a no-hitter. The backstory's pretty incredible.
All right, that's all coming up right after Check Traffic. Back after this on 97.3 The Fan. Don't Do This is brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sorrento Valley. Craft Taco has some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today. Thecrafttaco.com. I know you've been there, Woods.
It's spectacular.
I've been there with you.
Spectacular.
It is.
Go for lunch today.
That's
people.
a do this.
It is.
But let's start with the don't do this. Go ahead, Woodsy.
So, as our beloved Jesse Agler, voice of the Padres, says often, there's always the chance to see something in baseball that you've never seen before. And it's staggering, right? And I've never seen this at the big league level. I've seen this many times in Sunday League baseball. But yesterday, the White Sox, after a long rain delay, well, they were getting just drubbed, 9-0 by the Atlanta Braves. And Braves pitcher's on the mound. I think it's Matzik. He's warming up, and he's ready to get going for the 17 fans in the stands that have remained. And he's ready to go. Throw it down, throw it around the infield. He's ready. But they can't go, and there's a reason that they can't go.
So how about this? We have a delay because there is no first base coach right now for the Chicago White Sox, which is quite incredible. Something that usually happens at a Little League game. It's supposed to be Jason Bourgeois. So apparently he's not down there. They're yelling anybody. Anybody can coach first base.
Can Wiley Ballard coach first base?
I didn't know that was a rule that you had to have a first base coach.
I have never. This is a new one. I've never seen this.
So they're going to send out somebody.
Meanwhile, Tyler Matzik is waiting to enter the game here in the bottom of the 8th after Dylan Lee pitched before the rain delay.
So they're just waiting, and all the guys are looking around. They can't find this dude.
I love that there are so few people there that you can hear everything.
Yeah, I actually got a little nervous because I didn't know if there was an F-bomb in there.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
But it was, there's 14 people there. They're getting blown out 9-0. There was a 45-minute delay. They're lucky to have anybody in the stands at all. Couple teams that you may want to fade if you're a gambler this year. White Sox might be one of them. Just fade them. Fade them.
They did just sign Mike Clevenger yesterday back to their rotation.
Funnily enough, speaking of don't do this, he opted out of a $12 million deal at the end of the season.
That is a don't do this.
He opted out of $12 million mutual option. He's going to test the free agent market. Signed for 3.
With 3 in incentives. But even if he has a great season, he's going to make half as much as he could have just by opting.
All he had to do was sign on the dotted line. Well done.
But don't do this for his agent, to be sure. Quickly, just an update on yesterday's Don't Do This story involving Kansas City wide receiver Rashee Rice. His lawyers now say he is cooperating with authorities in Dallas after the major wreck involving a speeding Corvette and a Lamborghini Sport utility vehicle that caused a chain reaction crash on Saturday. One of the cars, we believe the Corvette, was registered to Rashee Rice, so they had been looking for him for a couple of days. Apparently, his lawyers happened to find him, and they are now cooperating, although it's still uncertain if he was definitely one of the drivers. The reports have not confirmed that either way, but obviously police remain very interested. I saw the dash cam video of the incident and fleeing from the scene, which is always that's always the wrong thing to do.
Always,
never the right thing to do is to flee from the scene. If you've made a mistake or not, you have to stay there and face up the consequences when the authorities arrive. So we'll see what happens and if any future punishments or anything are heading Rashee Rice's way.
The Chiefs get in an inordinate amount of trouble, I feel.
They
like.
do.
They do. For who they are, what they've accomplished, what they continue to accomplish. They get in an inordinate
From
amount
Andy
of trouble.
Reid's son on down.
all the way down.
I was going to say, I guess credit to guys like Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and the leaders of that team for somehow being able to weather all of those storms.
Rising above a lot of the crap that goes on there.
Breaks a lot of narratives, though, where you say, hey, you got to all be on the same page, and you can't have distractions off the field if you want to win a championship, or you can just be complete, utter messes off the field, and if you play
really
the best
good
on the field, you still win the championship.
The Dallas Cowboys proved that many, many years ago, Benny. All right, for do this was pretty amazing.
DD mega doo-doo.
So went into my office last night to turn on the Padre game. Wife wasn't feeling good, so I left the bedroom, walked in. I turned on the TV in there, and it was on MLB Network, and they no-hitter alert. And I'm like, what, already? There's a no-hitter alert? We're 6 days in or whatever. And a guy by the name of Ronel Blanco, who really, I will be honest, I had not heard of him.
No one had.
I hadn't heard of him
making his
at
eighth
all.
start
His eighth career start. He's an older guy. He's like 30 years old. Had been pitching mostly in relief in the Dominican League.
Yeah, the Astros signed him for like $12 like 8 years ago, like they do all of their stars somehow.
And for some reason, it just happened. It all materialized for him last night. He just had a baby 5 days ago, made the opening day roster after not giving up a run during spring training. He only had 7 previous starts. He made his debut at 28 years old, and he just threw the earliest no-hitter in Major League Baseball in his first start of 2024.
2-2 to Guerrero. Ground ball tap. Blanco lets it go by. Dubon fields. Throws to first. In time. A no-hitter!
Fantastic.
Ronel Blanco! Yainer Diaz, the first to jump into his arms. And the rest of his teammates come out to mob him. Ronel Blanco has thrown the 17th no-hitter in Houston Astros history as the Astros defeat the Toronto Blue Jays 10-0.
It doesn't hit the same when it's the combined no.
No, yeah.
But man, every time you get the real, authentic no,
awesome.
It's so much fun to watch.
I was jumping
It's
up and
so
down
cool.
for him, man. It was great. And then Robert Stock, former Padres pitcher, said the absolute wherewithal to not grab that ball, try to get that ball out of the sky, because if that ball goes up the middle, ticks off his glove, they can't get him. It's probably a knock. It probably is going to be ruled a hit.
And the play before, diving stop at first base, he had to cover the base. I mean, you need some luck to throw a no-hitter, no doubt about it.
And I'm sitting here going, it's his first start of the season. He goes, CG, no-hitter. I'm begging for 6 innings complete out of Yu Darvish tonight. Begging. Like, that would be utterly satisfying.
So, obviously, we waited 50 years to get ours with Joe Musgrove. Yeah. The Astros, how many was that?
17.
Not only that is their 4th no-hitter since June of 2022. They have 4
since Joe threw the one.
The rest of baseball, Joe's was before that. Joe's was in 2021. But since June of 2022, the Astros have 4 no-hitters. The rest of baseball combined has 3. They're all going to the Astros. They had one in the World Series. They it's no-hitters all over the place for the Houston Astros.
But like I'm saying, we waited 50 years, and Joe finally got it done.
And they've had 4 since then.
Had 4.
God. That organization and that fan base gets to see no-hitters.
What are they doing down there in Houston?
The time. Of course, they had Nolan Ryan for,
Sure. Well, he threw most of his with Texas.
He did, but he had at least 1 or 2 with the Astros. I'm almost sure of it. He had a couple with the Angels, had a bunch with Texas, but I feel like he had at least 1 or 2 with the Astros.
All right, here we
didn't
go. Can you name? All right, here we go. You'd never get this one. Don Notebart, Ken Johnson, Don Wilson, Larry Durker, Ken Forsch, Nolan Ryan, Mike Scott, Darryl Kyle, the late, great Darryl Kyle.
I remember those.
Then a massive combined one in 2003 with Roy Oswalt starting the game. Mike Fiers threw one. Aaron Sanchez, Will Harris had combined. Justin Verlander, Christian Javier. He had a couple combined. Framber Valdez threw one in August of last year. And then Ronel Blanco. Crazy. 17 of those bad boys.
All right, and that's Don't and Do This for a Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, I know social media is not necessarily reality, but I saw a lot of at least hovering over the panic button of Padres fans last night. Where do you stand? Let's talk about your emotional feelings toward the baseball team. 7 games into the season. Get to that coming up next with Ben and Woods.
Passive aggressive
on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Oh, you'll get more. Don't worry. On your way to work, want to keep listening to us even after you park the car with the Odyssey app and Odyssey.com. You can just download the app or visit Odyssey.com, search 97.3 The Fan, click on our show, download the Odyssey app today to get started. Beginning to see some of the stories now filter in after the reporting earlier this morning that Larry Lucchino, Padres Hall of Famer, inducted in 2022, executive, responsible really largely for the building of Petco Park, not the actual construction, but the willpower, the political clout, the organization and the drive necessary to get it done, get the election passed in 1998 with Prop C, get it through all the lawsuits, get it planned and get it done. Larry Lucchino was the force behind that, and he passed away earlier today, and that news was just coming out. So I do want to I don't want to tell you how to fan. I'm going to tell you how I fan, though.
We know
for
how
the
you
San
fan.
Diego Padres. We'll do that after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Get a little busier on our roads. Collision on southbound 163 right at the 5 connector ramp. That's over to the right shoulder. Also traveling on northbound 5 before H Street. We have reports of a collision that's involving a motorcycle. It's got the right lane blocked. Also traveling on eastbound 8 before the 163. Collision over to the right shoulder. The Cordell and Cordell traffic cams tells us there's a crash on northbound side of the 125 near Spring Street. Couple cars involved there over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So Padres lose last night to the St. Louis Cardinals, 6-2, fall to 3-4.
6-2.
6-2, falling to 3-4 on the season. And I'm not going to tell you I don't have concerns about the Padres. I had concerns going into the season.
Yeah.
Still have them. I'm just saying that 7
Are
games.
they the same concerns?
Mine
Pretty
are
much.
different. No, mine are
No,
different.
mine haven't
Mine
changed
are
that
much different.
We all thought the bullpen was going to be this area of strength, and the bullpen, I think, is sporting like a 17 ERA right now. I was like, I like this bullpen.
and we thought the starting pitching was going to be a
It'd be good.
strength, and he hasn't. But I still feel like those will be the stronger areas of the Padres, and that there's still some questions with the lineup, and the consistency of the team remains a question mark going forward. I've been certainly excited at some early results from guys like Jackson Merrill, and looking like he wasn't a mistake, at least, to promote him to the big leagues as fast as they did.
Sure. Looks like he belongs.
Don't know that Graham Pauley's totally ready yet. I'm glad he's gotten an opportunity. He had that home run, but he certainly doesn't seem like he's quite as comfortable as Jackson Merrill is when he's up there, which is fine. When you're young and first time in the big leagues, you're going to see a lot of that. So have some of the same concerns. But I am not, after 7 games, ready to decide anything on this team. They haven't even lost a series yet this season. They split 2 series, and they have dropped the first game of a 3-gamer, but it's hard to get into panic mode if your team hasn't even lost a series yet this season, which the Padres have not. So I'm going to remain patient and continue to take a bit of a wait-and-see approach to this team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised by that either, but you also can't be surprised when there are people like me that, yes, I do feel like the mood around the team is different. I do. I feel like the vibe around the team is different. All those things we like to say.
In a good way.
In a good way. I do feel that way. I really do. But the performance of the team has remained the same. It is a lot, a little, a lot, a little, a lot, a little, focused, unfocused, detail-oriented, not detail-oriented. I mean, again, you're still seeing some of these things, and I know that they happen. Listen, we're not
If
talking...
that does turn out to be true, sorry to interrupt, if that does turn out to be true, and yet the atmosphere, the mood around the team is much better, then maybe it was never the mood to begin with. Maybe there is something to be said about the roster construction that A.J. Preller has put together.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I think that's very fair to say, too. You can have all the Oakland A's may have really good vibes, but they made 5 errors yesterday, and that was in the first 4 innings, right? So we're not seeing that level of futility here, nor will we. I don't think. Last night was the first time this season I did feel the air get kind of sucked out of the team after the first inning. And I understand. 3 runs will do that to you. It will. You're like, oh, God, here we go. Uphill battle. Didn't see the clawing and fighting and things that I think we were looking for as a fan base. So I'm not panicked. I mean, I'm no dummy. I know there's 155 games to go. But I'm also not going to sit in here and say that these games, they don't really matter. It's early. These games do matter. And especially when you have a chance to beat up on a guy like Kyle Gibson, who went into your house last night and looked like Justin.
What would clawing have looked like more to you, though, in that game yesterday? Kyle Gibson, for his strengths and flaws, is a guy who's going to throw a lot of strikes. He's going to get a lot of ground balls.
Yeah, he doesn't throw hard.
He doesn't throw hard, but he's going to throw strikes, and he gets a ton of ground balls. Gives up a lot of hits, but they're usually ground ball singles in the hole. And then he gets a lot of double plays. He led the American League in both. Hits allowed and double plays.
I felt like watching that game, for the most part, the majority. Of course, there were some outliers, but the majority of the time that I was watching the game, it felt like the Padres are not putting together competitive at-bats.
Yeah, what does a competitive at-bat look like in that situation against Kyle
making
Gibson? But he doesn't walk guys. If you just take Kyle Gibson, he's going to go ahead of you 0-1, 0-2.
It felt
he
like
throws strikes.
Every time we were up to bat, it felt like, and I know this isn't how it actually played out, it felt like 4 pitches, 2 outs.
I mean, he had some quick innings last night.
He did.
He really did.
He did. But
listen, the guy work a little bit.
He pitches to contact.
If that's your approach on a guy like Kyle Gibson, then I guess you executed your approach. There's one at bat that sticks out in my head, and it's Campy's last night. And I love what Campy's done this year. But I did think Campy last night kind of got away from it.
I'll agree with you. The Profar had just worked one of the 2 walks.
Yeah.
And he did work that at bat. That was a solid at bat. It's not easy to work a walk against Kyle Gibson, but he did. Got a runner on base, trying to start a rally, and I believe the first pitch, outside
kind
corner,
of slider away,
and he kind of tried to pull an outside corner pitch and rolled into a double play. I will agree with you on that at bat. That would have been a pitch where you got to wait and find something better to hit than that, or if you're going to swing at that, you got to try to go the other way with it. So that was not a great at bat by Camp.
So when a guy is in the zone, right, but he's also not overpowering. I don't really want to go up and hack first pitch a lot. I don't. Be aggressive on, he will make a mistake. One of those sliders will not slide. One of those 2-seamers is going to float right back down the middle.
But that first pitch, more often than not, is a strike.
It is a strike,
and
but
usually
it's probably not
you're worse off going 0-1 than you are.
Not with a guy that's not going to blow it by you. Not at all. Wait for your pitch.
Okay.
Wait for your pitch. Jake had a really bad at bat too, and he's thrown in enough good ABs this year too. Now he did hit a ball on the screws that was beautiful play in right field by Jordan Walker. But when a guy's not going to throw it by you, then wait till you get yours. I think. Yeah, Tatis, he got his pitch. He got his pitch, and he did damage. He did damage with it. One of the really, really solid hits of the night for the Padres. So, I don't know. I mean, I saw a lot of kind of free swinging on a guy. Like, if it's Ryan Helsley in there, Ben, in the 9th, bro, hack. Like, just hope you get the fastball and hack. But if it's Kyle Gibson, you're like, bro, I can hit 91. Not me, them. I can hit 91 in my sleep. I'm going to wait till he makes a mistake. I'm not going to swing at anything spinning. And, if he dots one on the outside corner, I'll take it. But I just worked 6 pitches off of a guy that's 37 years old and got into their exhausted bullpen. We just talked yesterday about how beat up their bullpen was. And we said the key to tonight's game is get in that bullpen. You don't get in that bullpen by going up and swinging first pitch. You just don't. So, look, I don't know anything from anything, but I know that. If I'm trying to get in the bullpen, I'm not going to roll over. And even if I am hitting the ball hard on the ground, I'm still not getting into their bullpen because the guy was at 70 pitches through 6.
He was the right guy for the Cardinals in that game
100%,
yesterday, though.
100%.
I mean, it's tough to work a pitch count up on a guy who throws strikes and pitches to contact.
It's not, though, because you can foul pitches off until you get yours. Like,
no, come on. You can't just decide to foul a strike off. If
sure
you're swinging
at
it.
Sure you can. Are you kidding me? Ball's outer half, and you're like, I don't like that. Flick it away. Flick it away. I want to hit a mistake.
I mean, Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn. No, it ain't just Tony Gwynn.
If they're swinging to try to do damage and make contact for the most part.
Not necessarily. I disagree. I disagree too. Again, with a guy. Now, if a guy's throwing 98, sure, you're right. But if a guy's throwing 91, sit back, be comfortable, wait till he makes a mistake, and punish his mistakes. That's all I'm saying. And we said on this program, you said it. This bullpen is beat. They're worn out. We need to get into the bullpen. You don't do that by having 4-pitch innings for a guy, 7-pitch innings for a guy. You don't. Don't let that guy beat you last night. And that whatever mentality that is, and I don't know who instills that mentality. I don't know who has that conversation. I know they have hitters meetings and stuff like that. That's what I would have said, is this guy's not going to blow it by any of you guys. Any of you. He's not going to blow it by you, Kimmy. He's not going to blow it by you, Jake. He's not going to blow it by you, Manny. Make him make a mistake and punish his mistakes. And he's going to make them. He will make them because he makes a lot of them. And that's what I would have done last night. But what do I know? I don't know anything. That's all I'm saying. So now they've got a nice rested bullpen for the rest.
They do. They're in
the,
much better shape than they were going into this game.
They reset their pen.
To beat Kyle Gibson, you're going to need some of your hits to fall in.
Sure. And they did hit some balls hard.
And the Padres hit some balls hard. They made contact.
Right at guys.
Their BABIP was under like 100. It was a horribly unlucky game for the Padres as well. And you can say, well, that seems to happen to the Padres more than other teams. It certainly feels like it does, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the Padres hit some balls, hit a lot of balls hard, and most of them just were caught. And you can't do a lot about that. You can't change much about that. Now, could you have worked? Would I have liked to have seen them try to get maybe some more pitches early? Yeah, I guess so. You know, that was the strategy. I thought, try to get to the bullpen. But, you know, if some of those hits had fallen in early, completely different game.
Sure.
You know, you just got him on the ropes. He's giving up a lot of hits. The balls are falling in, and they just weren't falling in yesterday. Sometimes you can't do anything about it.
You're polishing this turd, aren't you? If some of those balls would have fallen in, I mean, yes.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like this new sound effect, the turd polishing, is going to get used a lot this year.
Good. Again. I love it.
Shine it up,
really
Ben.
Shine
it up. Nice and God.
I can't get enough of it.
Now, if they have
just anytime he talks about the Padres,
if they have like 5 more games like that in the next 2 weeks, sure. But if it's a one-off, and you know, at this point, 7 games into the season,
well, it's like a
not going to worry about it.
It's like a 162 plus 7 off, because this was the bit last year as well.
But you said yourself, things feel different. They
do.
It seems different this year.
Do. Now that can change very quickly if Mike Schilt goes and gets swept by the Cardinals, the vibes I don't think will be the same. I don't. But listen, he's a positive guy. There were, if you do want to take positives out of last night's game, there were certainly some to take out. We're not talking about the Chicago White Sox or Oakland A's here. We're not. But I don't know that we're necessarily talking about an upper echelon team either. We absolutely hope that they overachieve. You know, you said it in a text last night. We need them to overachieve. We do. They need to overachieve this season. And do they have the bullets to do it? That remains to be seen. And luckily, we still have a lot of games left to play. But last night was just a good indication of, hey, man, everybody can see what you need to do. And then the opposite happened. And that's fine. I mean, it's going to happen like that in baseball.
Yeah, the lineup, most of the lineup stuff that I was hoping to see early in the season. Signs of a bounce back from Jake. Yes. Fernando Tatis Jr. looking like peak Fernando Tatis Jr. Jackson Merrill looking like he can hold his own in the big leagues. I have seen the signs I was hoping to see from the lineup.
Me too.
It's the starting rotation and the bullpen that I have not seen what I expected to see from yet. So again, like I said at the start of the show, that's to me more of the concern so far.
Well,
now, talent will find its level, and I don't know that the bottom of the Padres order is going to hold up all season long. Will Campy hit 360 all year long, or will he have some slumps and regress? Probably a little bit. So I think they could use more help, but they need their pitchers, their starting pitchers, to start going 6 and 6 innings, 1 run. They're dominant enough that they need to be able to do that. And all of a sudden, you have a game where you only score 2 or 3. You win that game when you have good starting pitching.
Your bullpen's fresh, and you can go to your high leverage guys, and you can go out and win. Robert Suarez is on my fantasy team, rotting. He's just rotting on the bench, man. I think he's pitched once.
I always thought the Padres are going to need to win some 2-1, 3-2 games this year to have a good season.
No question.
So when you have these games where you're only getting a couple of solo home runs, doesn't do a lot of good when you give up 3 runs in the first inning. Now, teams win games when they only score 2 runs in Major League Baseball. You need better pitching sometimes. And they haven't gotten any of that yet. They have not gotten that yet.
Poor Betty.
Dead man.
I love
Need
you.
more pitching right now.
And hitting.
All right, we'll come back. Second half of the show is a busy second half. Jesse Agler, Katie Wu in studio, and much more. Don't go away. It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Stars in his eyes, indeed. Young Ben Higgins over there. Stars in your eyes, my friend. Welcome into the program. We're halfway home on a Tuesday. Still have an incredible second half of the show. The second act, if you will. Jesse Agler is going to join us at 8:35. Working on TV last night. He's very multi-talented. Can do it all, certainly. Didn't even, not that I didn't miss Don Orsillo. I did. But Jesse slides in seamlessly to work with Mud. And then, of course, our beloved Katie Wu will be here in an hour and going to spend the last hour with us talking about baseball and, the Cardinal way and all that entails, I'm sure.
Jesse was modeling the 97.3 The Fan poncho giveaway, the City Connect poncho that'll be given out to fans at tonight's game against the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yes.
And, of course, the three of us will be throwing out the ceremonial first pitch.
Oh, boy. Saw the schedule got sent out, and the game's at, 6:40?
Yeah.
That first pitch is at, 6:37.
Yeah.
It's way close. So if you're so inclined, mill about in the concourse for a while. You don't need to come down and see
you won't
this.
it'll be a full crowd tonight, obviously, with the giveaway item and such, but they won't all be in their seats.
Well, hopefully.
By 6:37.
That's what we're hoping for. Right?
Yeah, I do not want everybody in their seats early, like living and dying on our pitch.
So recently, we did a bit at the San Diego Seals game where we put Ben in a goalie costume or outfit.
Ooh, was I more nervous for that?
That's what
or
I was going to
this?
ask you.
I think I was more nervous for that.
Were
actually.
you?
Yes.
Like, nobody's gonna be throwing stuff or hurling stuff at you.
We're going to be throwing stuff at other people.
Right.
But he's gonna be fine.
My buddy Boggsy offered me $100 if I would throw a curveball, and I can't bring myself to do it.
Even a bit of a hanger, you can just kind of
I can throw a hanger. Nobody throws a hanger like I do. Nobody hangs their curveball more than I do, especially these days. Just everything.
We'll each
sucks.
throw a different pitch. I can do a split finger.
If you throw a split finger, that ball is going 6 feet in front of you.
You should do that, Ben. That's a great idea, actually.
6 feet in front of you. I bet it wouldn't even
Paul,
get to home
you got
plate.
a knuckleball? You think you can try it?
I could
throw one. I threw one yesterday in practice.
I won't do it, but I feel like I could throw one across.
That's a good way if you biff the pitch to get out. I was throwing a knuckleball.
I was throwing a knuckler.
Yeah.
It wouldn't do anything.
It's supposed to do that. It was supposed to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to get a chase on that pitch. So there's still so much unknown about tonight.
A submarine on it.
But the longer the day goes, the more I'll think about it and spin myself out more. That's how my brain works. So we'll see you guys tonight if you're going to be down there. They don't show it on TV, which I think is a good thing.
Thank God.
Oh, but they can.
They can if it's bad.
I've seen.
If only we knew the broadcasters that maybe didn't want to have some fun with us.
I've seen. Yeah, it's not like any of the television broadcasters we ever have fun with him sometimes.
Jesse
who might
and
be
Mud.
wanting to turn the tables if they had the opportunity.
I mean, that's like one little text to a producer on the TV side. Hey, can you guys pull that first pitch?
It's one of those
up?
where they come back in the third inning. Hey, if you missed it, here's what happened right before the game on the ceremonial first pitch.
I'm looking at my watch to see if my heart rate is going up because I feel like it's going
I
up.
don't think Don and Mud would do it. I think Jesse and Mud might do it.
It's going to be fun.
Would you rather throw out the first pitch or have to address the crowd before the game?
Oh, I'd rather address the crowd.
You'd rather speak
in a heartbeat.
What you do normally.
In a heartbeat. In a heartbeat.
What about sing the national anthem?
Oh, no. I'd rather
first pitch.
First pitch. All right. Somebody says worst pitch spins the bean wheel.
It's fair.
Who decides what the worst pitch is? Is it the one that
Mike Schilt
finishes furthest away from the target? Or the one that's...
We'll ask Ruben Niebla as we're coming off the field.
Mine's going to be the least aesthetically pleasing. I think we already know that from the practice session. But that doesn't mean mine's going to be furthest off target. I threw many pitches right where I wanted to, but they just I don't look quite as comfortable doing it. You guys have been playing baseball, fantasy camp, adult league. You've continued to play baseball. That was yesterday's catch session. Was my first catch session in at least 20 years, if not more. So it's been a while.
Yeah, that's true. Nervous.
Oh, and yes, there will be video, I believe, on Channel 10 tomorrow night at 11.
Oh,
yes,
really?
I have a photog coming
tonight.
So tonight at 11. Maybe tomorrow. If it goes really bad, we can always stretch it out for another
He's-
day on all the
how
episodes.
nervous he
of
is
the
right
show.
now.
He's freaking out. I kind of love it.
I do too. I can't wait. It's always fun to be with my boys.
No matter
down
what,
on
though,
the
Ben will
field.
come in and be like, well, I did have some popcorn right before my first pitch.
Now, I have stitches in my back. Is that a valid excuse? I have stitches in my throwing shoulder.
I mean, if you rip the stitches out and
Yeah.
are bleeding or something,
Profusely.
maybe. But otherwise, do you feel them when you're throwing?
I feel them all the time.
You do
It's
feel
hard to
them.
sleep on them.
Really?
Yeah. I have a bandage on the back, and they're coming through. I get them out on Thursday. I will miss the round table. I'm so sorry to leave you high and dry. And Adam has asked me to change my appointment. I can't. I would if I could. I love the round table, but I just can't make it. I'm going to be getting these stitches out. Cleared for baseball activities.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Adam just texted. He wants to know who we want to catch our pitch.
Are
We
these-
don't get to choose that.
We don't get to choose.
But, I mean, I guess, some people would say, well, yeah, we want Manny and Tatis and Xander to come out or Crony. I don't really want them to come out, and that would make me even
I don't
more
want them to
nervous.
even know we're there.
Yeah.
I want them to be in the taking swings off the tee down below.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nowhere to be seen. But it's so close to the game. They're all going to be there. I mean, they're going to be waiting to run out onto the field. What if they heckle us?
What's the
then
run
they're
of
going
show?
to, aren't they?
What's the run of show look like? First pitch at 6:37.
Yes, and then
the anthem's already been played. We come
We're
off
after the anthem.
We come off, and Darvish goes out to take the mound. Right? There's nothing in between. Maybe the play ball kid.
I hate this. Why do we do this to ourselves?
Oh God.
Okay.
Should be fun.
Nervous now.
Yeah, I am
We just need to
sweating.
stop talking about it.
Yeah, stop talking
The
about
more
it.
we talk about it, the worse it's getting.
Play your thing that you wanted to do about the sauces. Do that. Let's do that thing.
Let's do some
Let's do the
sauce
sauce
talk.
talk.
You guys like sauces out there?
Because I am on board with this.
All right. Ben sent this over to me. Now
Ben did.
I did.
Ben
This was
sent
a
it.
Ben.
It was a
Channel
10news.com
10, yeah.
Oh.
story that I saw yesterday. I go,
That's
this
weird
is
because
genius.
the story I sent Paul yesterday was about a mother that found a severed head in her sink, and it was her son had cut someone's head
Not
off.
this one.
I thought maybe a good Rhino Report story. Guess not.
Well,
Guess we'll go with the sauce.
this isn't really. This is the impromptu Rondo Report. We kind
Okay.
of banged it for today with our guests that we have coming up. But you go to a fast food restaurant. Sometimes you'll find the ones that have the magic soda dispenser where you can pick
The Coke Freestyle machine, it's called.
the freestyle. Is that what it's actually
want
called?
one. I want
you
one
can
in my
get
house.
any flavor, any combination that you want.
Strawberry Dr. Pepper
Right,
if you want.
You get your base sodas like Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, Dr. Pepper,
I
whatever.
think I've seen them. They have them at Jack in the Box and Encinitas and at Five Guys in the Encinitas.
They have them,
the freestyles.
I think some, yeah.
Yeah, Jack in the Box has them
And
for sure.
so you pick, like Diet Coke, and then you can add lemon, vanilla, cherry, whatever. All the different. You can make so many combinations of drinks. Well, they are working on something here now. This is starting in the East Coast, I think in Florida, at a place called BurgerFi. I've never heard of BurgerFi, and Ben believes that Burger King is.
I thought I saw
adopting
that
this.
Burger King might be adding them to their restaurants as well.
They've partnered with Heinz, and they're going to make a sauce dispensing machine similar to the soda machine. It's called the Heinz Remix machine.
Remix?
And it can dispense over 200 different sauce combinations.
This is going to.
I'm all in.
I am too, but it's going to. Have you seen the guys that treat the soda machine like it's a ride? And they're there for 15 minutes, and they're like, I can get watermelon, mellow yellow. And they're up there. I'm like, buddy, let's go. It's the same guy at the taco shop that spends 45 minutes. I need some of these little carrots, and I need 14 of the green, 14 of the red, 14 of the really red, and I need to get some of these, another bag of carrots. And you're like, buddy, there are people behind you. Have some self-awareness. So with the sauce, I really fear it's going to slow down. You need 6 or 7 of them really in a restaurant.
Think about the soda machine. Okay, I'll take a Coke, and then I'll add some cherry, and then whatever. You can do whatever you want with that. So the Heinz Remix machine, Heinz Remix machine. So it's going to have the base Heinz sauces are going to be ketchup, mayo, ranch, and barbecue sauce.
Okay, that's your
Standard.
base.
That's your base. Then you can enhance it with adding like jalapeno, buffalo, mango. And then after that, you can even adjust the level. Like, do you want it really spicy jalapeno, not super spicy jalapeno? Do you want to, you can see, I mean, yeah, you can do a spicy mango barbecue sauce
All
or
right.
something.
I'm on board. The sauce dispenser.
I see
Heinz Remix.
Vinny, mayo chup. Like if you like to mix mayonnaise and ketchup.
Oh, I do that.
Which I don't do.
Fancy
but
sauce.
It's almost like, like secret sauce of sorts.
That's what I eat on my Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Mayo chup.
You don't just eat Chick-fil-A sauce.
Oh, Chick-fil-A sauce.
No, I do fancy
goated.
sauce.
I like
on mine.
I like Chick-fil-A sauce.
Save that.
You.
I think I already have that one somewhere. That might exist
actually,
already.
It probably does.
The idea of maybe some spiciness, jalapeno, adding a little flavor to the normal drab, sometimes sauces is intriguing to me.
I do love sauces.
I am worried though. I have concerns because that those soda machines break down a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes, allowing the patrons to use them can create a lot of messes. How messy and out of whack is this sauce thing going to get?
Well,
is there going to just be splotches of sauce
everywhere
Well,
you've seen
the restaurant
ketchup dispenser at In-N-Out, right?
Yeah.
It's just ketchup everywhere all the time. Just
I mean, you need a staffer who's going to be constantly upkeeping the machine and cleaning it and making sure that it's ready for the next customer. Otherwise, it's going to be a total nightmare.
This is disgusting. The boss says, who else dipped their Easter glazed ham in mayo? I did. I love mayo, and I don't know that but I'll eat a ham sandwich with it on there. Maybe I will like that, actually. Maybe I will. I'm going to try that next time. I don't know about the dipping anything in mayo.
What about a mango mayo?
Mango mayo, jalapeno mayo, ketchup mayo. Delicious. All right. Thank you, Paulie, for that. Ben, good find there.
Sauce remix, the Heinz remix.
Yes.
Coming soon, maybe, to a burger location near you.
Yes.
All right. Incorporator with Jesse Agler is coming up at the bottom of the hour.
We need a word.
I've been looking all morning, and I still haven't found the right word yet.
All right. Throw it in the chat if you have one.
Okay. I suggested a weather word yesterday, but
Weather's
it doesn't
already
have
come
to
and
be.
gone.
Yeah, that's true. So we still need a word for Jesse. We will come up with one. He will join us at the bottom of the hour. Katie Wu in studio. Final hour of the program. All ahead with Bennett Woods. Back after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan. Mentioned the no-hitter during our Do This segment by the Astros' Ronel Blanco. Had a couple other games last night. Pretty full schedule on a Monday, including another win for the Dodgers. They beat the Giants 8-3, getting a Teoscar Hernandez home run for the second straight game. 3-run shot. Also had a little Giants news as Bob Melvin announced that Blake Snell will make his debut for the Giants on Monday.
Oh, just miss him.
One day after the Padres leave town in San Francisco for their upcoming Road Series opener. Blake will pitch against the Nationals. He's going to throw one more bullpen sim game this Wednesday, stay on track Friday, Wednesday, and then Monday for his San Francisco debut yesterday. So Giants leave town. They lose to the Dodgers. Yankees continue their hot start. They're undefeated. They beat the Diamondbacks 5-2. Anthony Volpe had 4 hits.
Jeez.
Juan Soto went hitless, although he did walk twice in the game. We saw that a lot last season. But the Yankees seem to be thriving right now.
Did he score any runs?
He did not score any runs,
okay.
just 2 walks, and that was it for the game yesterday. Speaking of undefeated teams, the Pittsburgh Pirates
Unreal.
are 5-0. Is it unreal, or is it a function of their opponents?
Their schedule has been a little light.
Swept the Marlins, now the
this last year?
Nationals. They got off to a decent start last year. Then they fell apart.
Fun, man. And they have not called Paul Skeens up yet, and that will be happening, I would imagine, here in about 2 weeks. And they were showing his numbers down in AAA, AA, wherever he's pitching right now. I mean, he's throwing 103 miles an hour. Like, there's only so many of those bullets to go around, right? So let's get this guy going at the big league level. I'd love to see it.
He's going to pitch out of the bullpen?
I don't know.
Or is he going to start?
He's starting in
the minors right now? Okay.
Yeah, he's nasty.
Speaking of undefeateds again, the Tigers, who were, I believe, one of my surprise picks to make the playoffs. They are unbeaten. They shut out the Mets 5-0 in a 10-inning game. The Mets, on the other hand, are winless. One of 3 winless teams still in Major League Baseball, along with the White Sox
and the Marlins. Our beloved Skip.
Even the A's and the Rockies have 1 win among them, but 3 teams still looking for their first victory of the season. Another extra inning game happened with the Reds and the Phillies. Spencer Steer hit a grand slam, leading the Reds past the Phillies 6-3. Did you see Mike Trout's act yesterday in Miami?
I've seen his act before.
2 home runs. The second one of the longer ones you're ever going to see. It was estimated at 473 feet. It pretty much left the Miami Stadium. That's not a hitter's ballpark.
No.
In center field.
Yeah, he got all of it.
It went over like where that sculpture used to be and went out into the concourse in center field. He absolutely smoked that.
They've won 2 in a row since Ron Washington called the very premature team meeting after 2 losses and said, "Hey, don't panic. Let's get it all together. Come on, fellas." And they've gone out and won 2 in a row, Benjamin.
It'd be nice to see a healthy season for Mike Trout.
100%.
Show that that MVP form. Now, I don't know that it'll be enough for that Angels team with just having Trout have a great year. They've had great years from Trout, and
many times.
Didn't lead them anywhere, but he's always fun to watch.
You know, I saw an interesting take on Twitter. We talked about it off the air yesterday, and it's so hard to wrap my head around, but I guess it makes sense. It's very pragmatic. So somebody tweet, listen, I know this sucks. This sucks to say. Shouldn't we just be rooting for the Dodgers to just beat the crap out of every single NL opponent they face? Just make it more...
Especially NL West.
Especially
NL
NL West.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Yesterday off the air, and it was sickening to
It's like
ponder.
sickening to ponder.
But I think you're right.
But you know, they just took on the
I
Cardinals.
mean, if the Padres can just tread water, 6-7 against the Dodgers.
Oh, that's that right now.
And,
as it stands
other
today,
teams get
that looks like a dream.
Their brains beaten in. Well, they're 1-1 so
Sure,
far.
yeah.
They've gotten off to a good start. Now, other teams like the Giants and Diamondbacks just struggle all season against the Dodgers. That can be the difference at the end of the year. Now,
it's tough, man, because they basically said any of those NL teams, any of those, the teams like the Pirates, teams like the Brewers, all those teams that could be sniffing around that wild card spot. Listen, we know they're going to be good. We know they're going to win 100+ games. Just hope they continue to drub teams right now and make
Dave Roberts
and make your path a little bit easier. And I said I hate
it's
that.
distasteful.
It's distasteful,
but from a pure logic standpoint,
pragmatic
if you
reasons.
want the Padres to make the playoffs, and you don't think that an epic failure of a season is in store for the Dodgers, and they actually could be the team that you beat out at the end of the year. by one game to win a wild card. Like, oh, Padres won 86, Dodgers only won 85, and you steal that wild card from him. I don't know how many people are thinking that's a realistic scenario. And if you really do think the Dodgers are going to win 90-plus games, they might as well win 140 games.
Right. Yeah, might as well.
And just beat up on everybody.
149-13 with 13 losses.
And then go ahead and feel that pressure going into the postseason after you've won 140 games in the regular season. Now, they've already lost twice. So
it's tough from a Padres perspective looking at the playoff race when we get to that point of the season, because there's a lot of teams that are going to be in the mix this year.
There are. You're right, but
you need to take advantage of those games now. Like these games against the Cardinals, I think matter. Cardinals could be in the mix.
I'm doing something now that I've never done as a baseball fan since I was 10 years old, and I became a hardcore baseball fan. I'm scoreboard watching on April 2nd. Scoreboard watching. Like last night I went, oh, come on, Yanks, beat the crap out of the Diamondbacks. Like I'm literally scoreboard watching because...
It's hard to do, though, because every result right now is both good and bad.
Right,
Someone
exactly.
wins, someone loses every single game.
But I'm watching the scoreboard going, good, more. Get these guys out. Get these guys, going in the wrong direction. Now it's April. It's April 2nd. And I'm
But you feel like Reds-Phillies. Was that a good result or a bad result?
I know, exactly. Well, I mean, think about who you would probably, rather play down the road. And...
I don't know, though. I mean, I feel like the Reds could be a team that steals a playoff spot away if they win too many games. They're now 3-1. The Phillies are 1-3.
Those wins are going to matter. You've got to beat the Reds.
Yep.
You obviously got to take care of your division. You got to take care of the Rockies. You want to beat up on the Giants and the Diamondbacks, but it's the other teams in the National League that if you think they're going to be in the mix, if you think they could be a wild card team,
pray for them to lose.
Pray for them to lose, and then you got to handle your business against them.
Michael G says, absolutely not. I refuse to Dodger love. This is disgusting behavior on the flagship station. Yes, we should be doing that probably. That's exactly how it feels. No, it's weird to be checking. Let me go check the out-of-town scoreboard and see what the Diamondbacks are up to and see what those Phillies, have they been able to right the ship.
April 2nd.
It is. It's true. It's April 2nd. And, you do this in football a lot. You do it in college football, certainly. Never really done it in baseball, but now I am because of the absurdity of the playoffs, because of the sheer number. When we were growing up, Ben, it was handle your division, and if you don't handle your division, you're screwed pretty much, right? You're not
right.
It
didn't matter. You had to win your division to make the playoffs.
Now it matters.
You can win 100 games. Yes. If someone else won 104,
you're out.
Doesn't matter.
You're out.
Well, failure of a season.
That's exactly right.
Now. It's much more complicated now. And as long as we're looking way down the road at things that are too early, if you are following Jackson Merrill's candidacy for Rookie of the Year, remember at the start of the year, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, odds-on favorite. He had a good start in his second outing, but Shota Imanaga may be another possibility out there. He made his major league debut for the Cubs yesterday and went 6 innings, allowed 2 hits, no runs.
Filthy.
As the Cubs won a 5-0 shutout win over the Colorado Rockies.
Sure.
Again, you got to look at the opponent, and it's very early, but a good debut by their offseason Japanese signing, Shota Imanaga, yesterday.
I saw a couple of videos of him out of spring training, and his stuff looked. They had the behind the catcher cam basically, and I went, "Good Lord, nasty dude." Came right in. Towed the rubber and got a huge win for them, and looked really, really good as their 5th starter. So I don't know. I'd like to see some of our guys take the next step the second time through the rotation, and that starts tonight. With Yu Darvish, and I have the utmost faith in you that he can get that done.
You have the utmost faith in me. Thank you.
Yu Darvish.
No,
not
for my pitch.
He's going to throw much more aesthetically pleasing pitches than you will tonight.
Tier 1 Yu Darvish.
Tier 1 Yu Darvish.
That's right.
That is a problem.
Merch wearing
That's a problem.
Yu Darvish.
Yep.
I wonder if he'll wear his shirt tonight for us.
Maybe under the jersey.
Yeah, that would be nice. All right, we have another pair of tickets to give away. Eric Clapton coming to Pechanga Arena on October 8th. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at AXS.com. Since we got Jesse coming up, let's just give it quickly to the third caller right now. Reward you for listening in on Ben & Woods, 833-288-0973. Call now, 833-288-0973. And when we come back, our first of our Tuesday chats with the voice of the Padres, and we have picked our incorporator word, and it did come from one of our Tier 1s who submitted in the last 15 minutes or so. So you'll have to wait and find out, just like Jesse, what the word is going to be for tonight. That is coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. And congratulations to Juan. Won the Clapton tickets. We'll have more to give away throughout the week before they go on sale. AXS.com this Friday. Getting ready to have Jesse Agler joining us, the voice of the Padres. He does it each and every Tuesday throughout the baseball season. And if you are new to the program, welcome. For Jesse, we have been the last, I would say 4 years now, been playing the Incorporator, which is on Tuesdays. We give Jesse a bizarre, odd vocabulary word that he then has to somehow incorporate,
weave it
into that evening's usually radio broadcast, although tonight Jesse will be once again filling in for Don Orsillo on television with Mud Grant on Padres.tv.
Yeah.
So he's done it on TV before.
He'll weave it into the television broadcast.
That's the plan. And Jesse will join us coming up right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Still a few trouble spots out here, guys. They did clear this crash on the coastline southbound 5 before La Costa, so looking much better for you there. Now traveling on the northbound 5, motorcycle accident right before 8th Street, clearing that out of the slow lane. Westbound King Freeway before the 15, we still have this crash in the center divide. Also traveling on the eastbound 8, just before the 163, crashed over the right shoulder, and in the East County westbound 8 past Greenfield Drive. Collision in the clearing stage. Looks like that is mostly over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, as we welcome Jesse Agler, I always forget this, but Jesse, you are beginning your blank season as a Padres broadcaster.
11
seasons.
Wow.
I remember when he first came over to host Padres Social Hour.
Just fresh-faced.
And now here he is over a decade in.
Still fresh-faced, by the way.
No, not at all.
Haggard? Little
so
haggard?
Not fresh. So haggard. I tell you what, how long have we been back from Korea? Like a little over a week?
Yeah.
I don't think either one of my kids has slept through the night that entire time.
How old
Lack
again?
of fresh face.
How old again?
8 and 3. And they kind of alternate sometimes, like who's going to cause the overnight trouble. And right now they've just decided it's going to be both of them. So like they'll take, it's like a double header. Like the big one comes in at like 11:30 and then the little one comes in at like 2:45. It's fun. It's great.
The child regression, I was just talking to my wife about this as my 3-year-old soiled himself at brunch on Easter, and we had to carry him out, 3 feet away under the arms and clean him off in the parking lot. I said, I thought we had this thing licked.
It's like a baseball season. You have a good game. Sometimes you have a bad game. It's
the regression.
Exactly right.
Just when you think, hey, we've got bedtime, we've got it locked. It's done. 2 days later, the guy's giving you the finger at 3 o'clock in the morning, standing at the edge of your bed. It's very much baseball-esque. You're right.
You know what? You have all those struggles, right? And then you have those moments that kind of make it all worth it. Like a few minutes ago, I was taking my son to school, and we had you guys on. And Woodsy, you said crap, which to an 8-year-old obviously is very exciting. And just from the back seat, he goes, "Dad," and I was like, "Yeah," and he goes, "Don't worry, I won't say crap."
Oh my God! What a good child.
What a good
Wait,
child.
You don't let your kids say crap? Oh, no.
Tell them, be like Ben, not like Woods.
Yeah, I don't believe him, but it was nice of him to say it. Yeah.
All right, Jesse, let me start with something of a serious nature. And I don't know how much of a chance you had to interact with Larry Lucchino. I know he was here a couple of years ago when they inducted him to the Padres Hall of Fame, but certainly the news this morning, Padres Hall of Famer and legendary baseball executive Larry Lucchino passing away. Just wanted to get any thoughts that you had today on Larry.
One of the most significant baseball figures of the last 30 years, and not just here. I think you'd ask anybody who was around at the time and who was involved at the time, and they will tell you without Larry Lucchino, there is no Petco Park. And it doesn't take a great deal of imagination to unwind that and say, if there's no Petco Park, I don't know that there are a San Diego Padres right now. I mean, that's the severity of the situation that existed back then. And Larry, with sheer force of personality and political guile, was able to help get that thing through. Not all alone. Certainly, there were a lot of people that worked really hard to get the thing done. But he was the driving force in a lot of ways. What he did, for Baltimore, Camden Yards, very similar, right? Really changed the nature of ballparks in this country. Put the Orioles in a position by doing that they were not in previously. And then, what happened in Boston after he left the Padres and them ending their 86-year title drought. He wasn't a guy, putting the roster together all by himself, anything like that. But, I mean, the way he was able to take what was happening there and turn it into the biggest thing going in baseball for a lot of years, wildly significant. I mean, imagine having that kind of impact on 3 different franchises, on and off the field. There's got to be a place in the National Baseball Hall of Fame for Larry Lucchino at some point, and as you said, very deservedly into the Padre Hall of Fame a couple of years ago.
Yeah, very well said by our pal Jesse Agler, who joins us this morning. And Jesse, I was watching last night, and a couple of good things to pick from last night's game. Love to see the rookie Jackson Merrill going oppo, big shot. He said he knew he hit it well enough, but he said, I 4-0, down 4-0. I'm running hard because if that ball goes off the wall, I'm basically a dead man. When I get back into the dugout, ball goes out of the wall. And I wanted to ask you this. I tweeted it. The silent treatment after a kid's first home run, that's the best bit in baseball. Yes? Like there's no better bit. They do tons of bits in baseball, but that to me, and I wanted to get your take on what your favorite, bit that these guys do is, because that one wins the night for me.
Yeah, it's a really good one. And, it's not just that they do it, it's the dedication to it.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch last night, Fernando is like Jackson Merrill is right behind Fernando at one point, and Fernando doesn't even peek at him. He's just, I think he was taping his bat or taping his wrist or something. And Fernando's, there's a great shot from in the dugout that they had on TV last night. And you just see, Tatis going about his business literally as if nothing happened. So it's not just the bit, it's the commitment to the bit. And that is what makes it such a baseball player thing, is that it's not just that they're doing it, it's that they're taking it all the way. And that's, I think such a part of the personality of the sport is that if you're going to do something, you do it. And it is super funny. Obviously, guys now know to expect it.
Sure.
And, so Merrill did the phantom high five thing. Some guys, just sort of disappear into the tunnel and then come back. But it's fun. It's special. Every, first major league hit is a huge deal. You just think about, what is it, 10% max of the guys who ever sign a professional contract make it to the big leagues. And then to have your first hit, your first home run, those are things that have to be celebrated. And it's one of my favorite parts of being around the game is seeing those things happen.
What are some of the other ones? Like when a guy's doing an interview during the game, tossing sunflower seeds.
That's a great bit.
At them.
Manny always takes the first hit and then throws the
the fake toss into the stands.
It's those are great
was this your
bits.
first hit ball? I'm tossing it into the stands while he palms the real
They're
one.
on second base
every single time.
Listen, and you play the hits. You know what I mean? Those bits work because baseball players are, and especially young baseball players,
defacing a ball and then handing it to the rookie. They do that too.
They're kind of rubes. You know what I mean? They fall for a lot of stuff. I read a story one time. Somebody told one of the kids to go get a bucket of curveballs. And the kid was like, I can't find curveballs anywhere. I mean, these like, go get the bucket of curveballs, idiot. And then kids out there asking, do you have a bucket of curveballs? Do you have a bucket of curveballs?
What's the key to the strike zone?
Key to the strike zone? Yeah, it's just fantastic. I love that. You got to do these things in 162 games, right, to entertain yourself. But I loved it last night. Now, that was...
somebody in the chat real quick. The national anthem standoff.
That one bugs me.
Oh, I love
that. Sean Mania did that a few times.
That
right?
one bugs me a little bit.
I love it.
Let's get it going. What's your favorite?
That's the point.
What's your favorite, Jesse, of all the bits that baseball players do?
That's good. I like the sunflower seeds. The guy in the interview. What I mean? Just never, give the guy an opportunity to feel totally comfortable because it's not a comfortable thing to begin with, and so now you're just trying to add to it. Those are all great.
Yeah,
those are all great.
Very solid.
So speaking of discomfort, the three of us are all feeling a little uncomfortable tonight. Any words of wisdom? Have you ever thrown out a first pitch, Jesse?
I don't think I have. No. Obviously, look, the main thing is you cannot bounce it.
Don't bounce it. All right.
Yeah. Get as.
But you don't want to throw it over anyone's head either.
You better that.
Really?
Okay? I think so. Yeah, I think
I mean, at least they have a chance to
catch
catch it on a hop if you bounce it.
They could leap up though and save you if it's high.
Like Sister Jean bounced it. You know what I mean? She's 106. You're a virile 48-year-old man. You've lost 40 pounds.
Semi-virile? I don't know.
Like, you don't want to go down in Sister Jean territory.
Like the main goal, right, is to not, turn it into a 50-cent moment where we're going to see it, for 50 years,
I'm
right?
not too worried about that.
Yeah. You guys are all, capable enough from an athletic standpoint to like get it in range. But, the nerves are going to be real.
Oh.
It's a big crowd. This poncho giveaway is a big deal. 97.3 The Fan, City Connect poncho.
Saw you modeling it last night on television.
Yeah, mud draped it over my shoulders, which I don't think is how it's supposed to work, but it helped. It was freezing up there.
Sister Jean
but
shawl.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. City Connect shawl. You just don't embarrass yourselves. I would say that's kind of the main thing, and I've got confidence in you guys. I mean, this is what all those tosses in fantasy camp were for,
That's
right?
true.
Is to be ready for the primetime moment, which is this. But you do have to know that, like, if it goes badly, we cannot save you. It will be shown on television over and over again.
I'm coming back from the third inning break or something. I can just imagine when it's going to happen.
I'm not going to be able to cover for you, is what I'm saying.
That's fine. No, we're used to it. That's fine. Talking to the great Jesse Agler here on Ben and Woods this morning, and I have a new Jesse. Usually is my voice of reason throughout the year. Ben tries to be, but we spend too much time together. Ben and I spend too much time together, so it's in one ear.
It means more from Jesse.
Yeah, it means more from Jesse. But I just want Jesse to know I'm impervious to it this year. I'm like the Irish and psychoanalysis. Like, it doesn't work on me this year. I'm not doing the it's a marathon, it's a sprint bit this year. I'm doing it's a sprint, 162 game sprint. I just wanted to get that out there now that I'm going to be expecting more from this Padres team, Jesse.
More than what you've seen in the first 7 games.
Correct.
Or whatever it is?
Yeah, I know you.
Okay.
I knew you were going to throw the
fair.
number in there. I knew you were going to throw. I know that there's 155 to go, but thinking about patterns, right? Patterns are very fascinating, and it's such a hard game to handicap. It's a hard game to understand. But we said yesterday on the air, hey, feast or famine. We cannot have. You agree? We cannot have the feast or famine mode back at Petco Park for this team this year. The feast or famine was impossible.
No doubt about it. I like feast and famine. I think I called it yesterday, Jekyll and Hyde. We were talking about it before the game. Those are the things that you need to avoid. You don't want those high highs and those low lows. They don't do you any good. That's how you end up with that wacky run differential situation that we had a year ago, where everybody said, oh, this doesn't make any sense. They scored all these runs more than their opposition. How did they not win more games? Well, if you watch the games, you know how, because it was exactly that. When they won big, and when they lost small. That doesn't get it done. I'm with you. You need more consistency offensively. You don't want these games where you just go out and you blow the roof off and then you don't score for the next 2 or 3 nights. That's not going to work. I know you don't want to hear that it's only a week, but A, it is. B, I do think the weird sort of start nature of the season, has made things a little bit weird. Not that explains the offense necessarily, but I think that probably impacts the starting pitching. And the reality is, and I don't know that the guys would agree with this, but my observation as a fan all these years is that, if you do get into a situation where, the starting pitcher gets off to a rough start, it just changes the nature and the complexion of the game. And you'd like to say, well, no, you have to have the same offensive approach no matter what happens, in the top of the first inning or whatever. But, I think human nature, is part of that. And if you're down in a hole early, it can change the way you're feeling at the plate. So, I think once the starting pitching stabilizes a little bit here, once we get on this normal schedule, which really begins tonight, hopefully everything is a little bit smoother and more normal. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't want to see this Jekyll and Hyde thing anymore.
And Mike Schultz said, I'm not worried about the starting pitching. It's one trip through the rotation. No. Now, they do need more. I said they need more starting pitching. It's supposed to be a strength, and they're going to need to get more, but I'm waiting to worry until they've even lost a series, which they haven't even done yet this year. They could come back, win the next 2 against the Cardinals, and you're feeling really good about their start to the season. So let's be patient. All right, Jesse, I know you're on TV tonight, but we got to start the Incorporator on a strong note tonight. And Mark submitted this. We had our chat was all about the words this morning because we were having trouble coming up with one after 4 years. But I love the word that Mark submitted today.
Elite,
so are you
elite
ready?
Word.
You ready for the Incorporator? Paul, you going to play it for us?
Dewlap.
Dewlap.
Dewlap. Easy.
D-E-W-L-A-P.
Dewlap.
A dewlap is a longitudinal flap of skin or similar flesh that hangs beneath the lower jaw or neck of many vertebrates, including lizards and cattle, or sometimes the vocal sac of a frog.
Or a radio host.
That little dangling piece of skin.
I call it the gullet.
Right under the or
gobbler.
wattle, but this case, it is known as a dewlap.
Dewlap.
That's great because, I didn't know there was a word for that. Obviously there is, but I didn't know what it was. I like that. So this is a little bit different than like the pelican, right? Because that's more attached to his beak.
Yes,
I think that's more of the beak.
Okay.
This is actual skin that is hanging off the.
Like when I googled the word, the most common pictures were lizards and little dragons.
There's a picture of me
types,
right in there when you look at it.
Yeah,
just look at a picture of me and look at my dewlap, and then you'll be fine. It's hereditary. Did you know that? Like my mother, my grandmother, my aunts, they've all had theirs cut out because I could lose 50 pounds. I'm still going to have this gobbler.
I can't believe you said that.
What?
That you admitted that they had it removed.
Oh, they don't care. Oh, you don't think I'm going to?
So did my mom.
100%. Yeah, 100%. I need her to text me her guy because this thing's coming out one day when I get the scratch for it.
Yeah,
Jesse, no more
What
dewlap.
what sort of doctor does dewlap removal?
Plastic surgeon.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, plastic surgeon. Piece of cake.
What is here's what I want to know, the official name of the procedure for the dewlap removal.
I think that's what it is. Dewlap removal.
Dewlap removal? Okay.
Gullet removal. Gobbler.
Dewlap reduction.
Dewlap reduction surgery. Exactly. Well, I can't wait to hear how you use it. I have an idea of how you may use it tonight in the booth, but I will not spoil it.
Are you taking a shot at mud?
No,
Is that what
me,
you're
no,
doing?
never.
We were under strict orders not to bring that up as an idea.
I'm shocked that you would even think of mud when I said dewlap.
That's mean of you, Jesse.
Very mean of you. Thank you, my friend. We'll see you out at the yard tonight.
Hey, you guys are going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate
Jesse Agler, voice of the Padres, and Tuesdays at 8:35 generally throughout the baseball season. You get Jesse's insight and humor and general good nature. Always love talking to Jesse.
One of my favorite parts of the week.
All right.
Sorry about teaching your kid the word crap.
I believe we have Katie Wu joining us in studio.
She's here.
When we come back,
fresh bagel in her
covering
hand.
the Cardinals for The Athletic, one of our absolute favorites. Going to spend next hour in studio with us. We'll get some stories, got some great coverage. Mike Schilt, obviously she has some experience there. Put a piece up this morning on The Athletic about Mike Schilt facing his old organization. So we'll get into all of that coming up when we return with Ben and Woods
us, by the way.
on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. There's only one thing I'm sad about already here. Final hour of Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. And that is that the St. Louis Cardinals only get to make one visit to San Diego every year. And it's going to be over in 2 days. After tomorrow, they'll be gone. And Katie Woo will not return to San Diego until, the playoff series between the Padres and the Cardinals. But Katie Woo from The Athletic is in studio with us and joins us right now here on Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. I guess it's great to see you very early in the season. Hello, Katie.
Guys, it is so great to be here, but I am like, what am I going to look forward to for the rest of the year? My favorite series gets knocked out in the first 3 days of April, and it was a short one.
Probably just watching the Cardinal way every day is probably enough for you.
I'm blessed.
It's always those trips to Milwaukee in August.
Milwaukee's great, though, isn't it?
Milwaukee, underrated drinking scene.
Big time.
Wow. Great place to be in the summer.
It's a really cool city. I hear good things about it. I know players like playing there. For you,
then what's the worst city to
what's
go
the
to?
one where you're like, oh my God, I gotta go cover so and so?
I have seen enough of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, I will have to see it twice this year.
Yeah.
And twice the next year.
Since he's pretty boring.
It's pretty, with all due respect to Ohio.
The chili is awful.
No,
it's just
I'm not doing that.
Awful.
There's no way.
How's your bagel?
Well, I had one bite,
Okay.
so that was awesome.
Well, feel free to
thank
eat.
you guys.
You're fine. It's fine. I mean, keep it clean in the chat, as I mentioned before. Just because we have a female in here doesn't give you the right to go crazy.
Well, female, I don't know.
As they do, they see a attractive young woman in here and they just go nuts. So please keep it clean in there. And,
no sickos in the chat.
No sickos in the chat.
Well, let's start with a little baseball. Why don't we? I feel like the Cardinals and the Padres a little bit similar, coming off a disappointing season. Some people think they're going to bounce back. Others don't think they're going to bounce back. I've seen predictions from the Cardinals winning the division to the Cardinals having a losing record and Ollie Marmol losing his job this year. So kind of a wide range of expectations for the team that you covered this year.
Now, he got extended, didn't he? Did they extend him for what, 2 more?
So they extended him on top of his current contract, which is set to expire at the end of the 2024 season. So Ollie Marmol is on paper set to manage the Cardinals through 2026.
And
that's pretty safe.
He's fairly safe. But I if you go to Katie Woo's thread, any thread that you post, he gets an inordinate amount of grief. A lot. I mean, he really does.
It's really absurd.
It's crazy. Now, I watched an interview he did. I think it was with Xavier Scruggs.
Yes.
And I came away from that interview really liking him a lot more than I did before and thinking to myself, okay, that is the right guy for the job. It may take a couple of years. When I look at the team, obviously there's a lot of guys that you can get excited about. Jordan Walker, Mason Wynn, all these guys are up and comers. It's the guys like Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt, the veterans that have to play well as well. We have that very same situation here. Ben's right. It is very similar. Your rotation, though, averages about 48 years old, which is interesting to me that's the direction they went in. Effective last night, though.
Yeah, I think with the Cardinals, they never had a losing season under their president of baseball operations, John Mozeliak's tenure, he's in his 17th season now. So that's pretty remarkable. And I think when they imploded last year, everyone was kind of like, this doesn't happen to us. This can't be happening to us, right? So their offseason was so important. And though the Cardinals have the gate revenue and the TV money of a big market team, they're not big market necessarily. So there are some spending limitations from ownership. So I thought what Mo did was went out there, he got Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn right off the bat, and immediately fans were like, we're out. That's it.
That's it for us.
See you in 2026. We're out. But honestly, and it's only been one turn through the rotation, I think Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson turned out pretty well.
Yeah, so far so good.
Right.
Yeah. And Matz was incredible.
Matz was great, and he was on a pitch limit. So not much you can do with that. But what those guys do, and Sonny Gray, of course, hurt, but he should be back in the next couple of weeks, is they're going to give this team innings. And that's what last year's rotation did not have. I think the Cardinals at the end of April last year had 4 quality starts total from their rotation, and 3 were Jordan Montgomery. So it was a really rough time. And by getting Gibson, by getting Lance, Miles Michaels eats a lot of innings, the Cardinals were hopeful that they can bridge the gap between the 4th, 5th, and 6th inning that they struggled to cover all year last year and save their bullpen, because I do think their bullpen is pretty nasty. They just have to get it there. And their offense really will be fine. So that was kind of the rationale behind these decisions over the offseason. Was it orthodox? No. Was it popular with the fan base at the time? Nothing that the Cardinals do right now is.
I was just going to say, is anything popular with the Cardinals fan base?
No.
No, nothing. And you know it because you see it. And I see you seeing it every day. It's gnarly.
I pick one person a day that gets... that just gets, you know what? And you know what? It's so random, too. I'll just
wrap.
I'll
Yesterday
refresh
was
it.
why is Matt Carpenter starting?
Yes,
guy?
why is Matt Carpenter in the line? Like, if you follow the team, you know that they're ravaged by injuries and they really don't have another option.
They don't. And, Matt Carpenter had a great spring.
Yeah, he
and I
did.
know spring stats are spring stats. I'm not here to get into that. But he also contributed pretty well yesterday.
He did.
The pop-up, whatever. But, he can bunt for a base hit, beat out at 38 years old. It's fine.
Yeah.
I don't understand why there has to be... I do understand. But not everything has to be like a crisis at Game 5. And I think the Cardinals opening up in L.A., I'm not Dodger loving on the show. I know the rules.
They're ridiculous.
They're a tier above everybody else. So I would like to see what the Cardinals look like playing good teams. Maybe not the best team in baseball by a long shot before I make any definitive reactions about this club.
Sure.
The other similarity, obviously, the Padres and Cardinals relying on a couple of superstars, but also bringing up young players. And, Jordan Walker, who we saw make an unbelievable catch last night. They also have Victor Scott's just 23. They have some younger guys that they're going to need to contribute, just like the Padres going to need Jackson Merrill and, Graham Pauley and probably some of their pitchers later in the season to do some things if they want to get where they want to go this year.
Yeah, definitely. And this wasn't the plan. The Cardinals came into the season with their outfield declared in November. They were going to put Lars Nootbaar in left, Tommy Edman, San Diego guy, in center field. Despite him being a Gold Glove winning infielder, he also played a heck of a center field for them last year. And Jordan Walker, who is still adjusting to the major leagues as an outfielder, in right. And Dylan Carlson would be like the rotating reserve. Well, 3 out of those 4 guys are in the injured list. So they kind of had to scramble. Brendan Donovan can play left field, but, he's an infielder. And Victor Scott II, elite talent, great speed, really good defender, but the plan was for him to start in AAA. He kind of got thrust up here because there was nobody else. But I think Victor has probably been the most exciting player to watch because he's so dynamic, he's so young, and he reminds me of like old school Cardinal baseball, the way that he plays. He called himself New Age Whitey Ball, which I thought was very swaggy.
Yep.
And
that's
I think,
Whitey Herzog for just
Right.
the younger audience out there that doesn't know the reference.
Well, I'm stuck in Cardinals land. What can you say?
Everyone knows the reference in Cardinals land. Yeah, it's exactly.
But I think those guys, Mason Wynn, great defender at shortstop. We talk a lot about the old rotation, but that young dynamic at the bottom of the lineup is going to be equally as important.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to reconcile here, and they talk about it a lot on the broadcast, and I can certainly buy into it that this team last year had Juan Soto, it had Trent Grisham, it had a lot of veterans, it had mercenaries at every spot in the lineup, and a lot of those mercenaries did not live up to what they needed to do. They've infused it with some young guys, and you can see it's working a little bit so far.
The problem last year was the stars never really played together. It felt like. And I saw somebody in our chat this morning was like, we have star power, but the stars aren't playing together
and I don't know
in unison.
I don't know necessarily what that means. If all 3 guys come up and get a knock, then are we playing together? I
thought they did that too much. There were too many games where they all got hits and they scored 12 runs, and then there are too many games where they're very much in unison, all going 0 for 4 in the same game.
Baseball's tough when it's like an individual sport and a team sport at the same time.
It's not an offensive line, where we're like, no one can get by us, right?
3 all-pro wide receivers trying to work them all into the game plan together.
Exactly. It's baseball at the end of the day. But the injection of youth, the problem when you inject youth is they have to be able to play, right? Mm-hmm. And we as fans want them to hit the ground running. It's really hard to do. It's really, really massively hard to do. And we've seen it here. We've seen an influx of youth, and none of those guys really panned out. And now, we're starting to see a little bit of fruits of our labor, I guess, with Jackson Merrill and, to a certain extent, I guess, Graham Pauley. I think there's more to come for him. But even in the lower levels, the Ethan Salases of the world, the Leo DeBreeze. Last night I was texting with some friends. They're like, all right, if this thing goes super south, we win 70 games this year.
Been there.
Right. what kind of panic needs to set in. And you do wonder how far away some of these young guys are and when it's the right time to call them up. So as far as your guys' like youth movement, are all the best prospects up playing right now?
For the most
Yeah,
part.
for the most part.
That big prospect class with Nolan Gorman, Jordan Walker, Mason Wynn, those were the guys. And Victor Scott wasn't necessarily considered a top prospect, but then he stole 94 bases in the minor leagues last year.
That'll do it.
And played some really good defense, so then he just kind of shot up the rankings. But yeah, that's the big problem with this Cardinals roster. They don't have any sort of AAA depth. So we've seen Ollie Marmol be conservative after 5 games, but that's enough. That's enough to call for his job, apparently.
Right.
They've seen enough. And I'm trying to explain. I don't want to do the whole "it's a long season" because that gets so tiring.
Yeah, people
right?
hate that.
Yeah, but it's April 2nd. But I digress.
Right.
They don't have any depth in AAA. Their depth in AAA is on the roster because who they had originally planned is on the IL.
Right.
So that's why they're a little bit more conservative because there is no youth movement for the Cardinals after this. This is their youth movement.
is it.
They're in the minor leagues, right?
Well,
they're in the major leagues.
And talking to our pal Katie Wu, she's in studio with us today, covers the Cardinals for The Athletic. And, you're talking about Ollie Marmol and your former manager, Mike Schilt, who had just glowing things to say about you. When
nice.
we sat down with him, and I think I can share this story. I said, we're really good friends with Katie Wu. He goes, I love her. And I said, why is that? And he said, she wanted to be held accountable. And I said, she did. She asked you for account. Like, if you screwed up, how did that transpire? What was that like?
I forgot about this conversation, but yeah, it's true because I only had Mike Schilt as a manager for 1 year, and it was 2021, my first year as a beat writer. I mean, you guys have been there from the jump,
sure,
right? But it was also the Zoom era, so I didn't even shake Mike Schilt's hand until like June, and I've been covering this guy for 3 months. So we were already at a lot of limitations in terms of how our relationship could evolve, and it was like that with everybody, the front office, players. But I thought the biggest thing in my first year beat writing in a city I'd never been in or really knew anything about was to have open and honest conversations. So that meant if I dropped the ball, I want to know about it. Because they're not going to get better unless people tell you, right?
Look at her. Amazing.
And he was really receptive about it. And I think that he went above and beyond his way, not just with me, but for anyone that wanted to have those conversations. I wish I would have had more time, but I also think he helped me prepare for Ollie Marmol, who's the exact same way. You mess up, he's going to let you know about it, and we move on. Yeah, for sure.
So, do you remember the first time? Now, how did that work? Did Schilt text you and be like, "That was wrong"?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
It would also be we were allowed on the field a lot, just not in the clubhouse. So he'd just come up and we just chat and be like, "I'm thinking of it this way," or "What are you thinking?" And those kinds of conversations that you don't necessarily print, they help both sides.
100%.
Because I don't know what's going through your mind as a manager in the middle of the ball game. And when I ask, sometimes it can come across as like, "Why didn't you do it this way?"
Yeah.
Right? And I think Schulte did a nice job of understanding that I can't speak for him. So when I ask these questions, when anyone asks these questions to a manager, we're doing so because fans need to hear it from the manager.
Right.
No one cares if I explain a bullpen decision. Trust me, they light me up. Excuse me for trying. But we ask those questions. Sometimes I disagree, but that's not my place. I'm asking the questions so that fans can understand the rationale behind the organization. And I think Schulte did a really nice job in the 1 year we worked together to understand where I was coming from too.
That's cool.
And Mike Schilt said to us in spring training, which I thought was very telling. He said, "I want tough questions because they give me a chance to explain my thinking and my reasoning for making certain decisions. So I appreciate and invite the difficult questions." Let's take a quick time out. Katie Wu from The Athletic is joining us in studio. And when we come back, I want to ask Katie, speaking of Mike Schilt, it remains one of the more closely guarded secrets in baseball as to why the Cardinals let him go in the first place. We've heard a little things, but Mike doesn't talk about it. John Mozeliak doesn't talk about it much on the Cardinals side. Just want to hear what kind of Katie has heard from her sources and in the last couple of years since that went down, because it is still kind of a mystery, even years later, what actually went down in St. Louis between Mike Schilt and the Cardinals. We'll get to that coming up. Check of traffic, more with Katie Wu, Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Always a treat when we have Katie Wu from The Athletic in studio in town with the St. Louis Cardinals covering the team. And I teased it, so I want to get right to it. We have really liked Mike Shildt so far, got to know him a little bit more in spring training, just what he says, the way he's kind of taken charge of the team, coming in difficult circumstances. And the more we get to know Mike Shildt, the more surprising it is to me that the Cardinals let him go, considering 3 straight playoff appearances, manager of the year, the fact he had spent so much time in that organization and speaks so highly of everybody in that organization. And it still remains a bit of a mystery, Katie, as to what happened. We hear the philosophical differences, but everybody has some philosophical differences.
We wouldn't have made it a week on the show if philosophical.
We have no philosophical alignment at all.
Zero
None.
philosophical
later,
alignment. Nothing. Not one thing do we agree on.
We make it work,
Yeah.
but they couldn't make it work in St. Louis. Anything that you can add, 2.5 years later to this mysterious exit of Mike Shildt from St. Louis?
Guys, not much. And I think a lot of it comes down to when your organization, as the Cardinals, don't offer a public explanation, it just leads to a lot of speculation.
Sure.
And I know, managers and front offices are okay to disagree. I mean, you're not going to find a single organization in baseball where they're aligned on every single thing. But I see a lot about analytics. I don't really think it was analytics involved at all. I mean, when the first pitch is thrown, John Mozeliak steps off. He has no say over who Ollie Marmol was bringing in or who Mike Shildt was bringing in at the time, which relievers to be used. That's not him. He is a very much hands-off president of baseball ops. I think it just more or less came down to different directions on where they wanted the organization to go. And it was surprising because after the Cardinals won 17 games in a row and really derailed my September, Sarah was like, wait.
I already made plans.
Cancel vacation.
I did do that.
Yeah.
I think Mo was looking at maybe extending Schulte, who had one more year on his contract after the 2021 season. And then they flew back to St. Louis after LA, and he does his end-of-year meetings. He does this every year. He meets with every single coach. He meets with his staff. And it just seemed like there was a disconnect. And the Cardinals were in such a good spot in 2021. They were on the rise. They had a good group of young talent. That core we just talked about was about to break into the majors. And didn't expect to make a change. I think everyone will say, Schulte said it was blindsided. John Mozeliak said he didn't expect to do it, but he ultimately did. And there's still a lot of uncertainty and unclarity on why that happened.
He must have blown that meeting.
Well,
there's something that
something
was said
happened
in
in
there.
something went down in
I'm
those
looking
meetings.
in the chat, as you heard, I've seen the speculation. I've seen rumors. The players didn't like him and forced him out. The coaches said they were worried he was working him too hard. And maybe that's true, but I certainly haven't seen hide nor hair of that since he's come to the Padres. And people do, change and learn as well.
You learn from your mistakes, right? I mean, I think you that was probably, and the way that I've played it through in my head at least, is maybe I blew that meeting. I came on a little too strong, and I maybe was out of school. I stepped out of school a little bit. I was out of turn, and it cost me my job. And came here, started to lay the groundwork maybe for another position down the road if something opened up, and has changed. And you hope if there was something wrong, if there was something abrasive about him, if there was, you hope that somebody can learn from that and say, well, I don't want that to happen again. I know the game. He knows the game. He knows the X's, knows, and knows how to talk to players. All the players seem to really enjoy him when we were at spring training, and everyone seems to really get along. He has been a breath of fresh air from Bob Melvin. And I think he was, when he started and he talked about immediately, no, we're holistic. Me, the front office, it's a holistic approach. You have to buy it. You don't have a choice. Every GM that wants to be the rogue GM and do what they want to do, they have a boss they got to answer to. And every manager that comes in and thinks, I know the way, I don't want your input. You think Billy Beane and Art Howe and Moneyball, that was played up a little bit, but you have to buy in. I mean, you have to if you want to. I have to buy in here. I'm not going to wear the polo they want me to wear, but for the most part, I got to be here on time. I got to be prepared. I have to be funny. I have to do whatever. You do have to buy in. I can't just come in and fold my hands and not do anything. So my hope is that
that's my job.
My hope is that he learned from his mistakes in St. Louis, and I'm sure there were some.
And I think that also, if he did go in there and blow that meeting or whatever
What
happened.
the hell happened in there?
Whatever happened in those 36 hours. I think in a way, Mo going out and not disclosing it gave him a chance to manage again.
Of course.
Because and this is, I'm not necessarily defending Mo here, but we have to think about the coin flip. Mike Schilt was in that organization for almost 2 decades.
Yes.
He did a lot of work with John Mozeliak. Started as an area scout to manager. And I think if Mo believed that Schilt made a mistake or whatever transpired in those meetings that we don't know about, by Mo not saying anything, he gave Schilt a chance to learn from whatever mistakes he might have made in St. Louis. And I think that's ultimately why he's here in San Diego, was because it became clear to the Cardinals, okay, Mike Schult's not the guy for us anymore. Maybe he can learn from this and get a fresh start. And we respect him enough to give him the opportunity to do that. We're not going to disclose what happened in case that comes back to bite him. That can be, to me, is the only explanation that I think would justify the Cardinals' decision to just let it go, because it hasn't leaked anywhere. And it's been 2.5 years.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the explanation.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes it's just the end of the road, right? I mean, sometimes the road just ends, and it happens. It happens in friendships, relationships, jobs, all the time. I feel still, lucky that Mike Schilt was able to come here and work in that advisory role, get a chance to be with the guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. and stuff like that, and build relationships with those guys. The pressure will be on him more, though, because this isn't, hey, give him some time to breathe, because he has not been in this organization. No, he's been here.
Right.
He's been here. I expect more from him. He expects more from him.
And it's not a team that is, give him a couple of seasons to build up the talent. No, talent's there.
Here.
And whether it's true or not, the Padres are expected to win. And they got to do it right now. And they got to get to the, get challenged at least for the playoffs this year, or everyone's going to be really, really disappointed.
Yeah.
Katie, I wanted to ask you about a couple of the star players that you cover, because both Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado have always been the enemy to us, in the NL West with the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. Now together with the Cardinals, we don't see them quite as often, but good guys, just kind of the behind-the-scenes interactions with those two over the last couple of seasons.
Oh, I couldn't say any higher praise for both of them. Paul Goldschmidt, I feel like I never want Paul Goldschmidt to be disappointed in me. I feel like as a human, if Paul Goldschmidt's disappointed in you, that must be like the absolute lowest you could feel. He's a total professional. One thing that I really like about Goldschmidt, and I told him this in a story I wrote about him last year, he's like the least flashy superstar in the game. He shows up every day with his dad flip-flops, same gray t-shirt. He's like, does anyone need me? I'll be here. If he says he's going to do an interview, he comes back and does it. I mean, he's just a total pro. And then Nolan, we came to St. Louis in 2021, both completely new to an organization, and I felt like we adjusted together, even though obviously we're doing two very different things. He's playing an elite third base, and I'm like writing 6'3" in a scorecard. But having that relationship transpire throughout the years, I mean, we've done a lot of highs and lows together. And Nolan too is always great, approachable. I think what I really like about this Cardinals clubhouse, just as an observer for someone who comes in every day, is the energy. They are so understanding of the job. And look, media's hard. You guys get it.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes we're not everyone's favorite girl or guy.
Rarely.
Yeah. Twitter will tell us. Maybe the chat. But I think that clubhouse, and that's set the tone by the veterans, comes in there and ultimately understands and respects the job we have to do. They may not like us all the time, but they're very understanding, especially last year. It was really tough last year in that clubhouse. So for them to keep that same kind of professionalism and poise, I think that says a lot about the leaders they had in that clubhouse and the overall culture there. So no complaints here.
I want to hang out with Lance Lynn. He's a me type of guy. I like Lance.
You guys, I think,
Lynn.
would be friends.
I think we would be very, very tight given the opportunity. He's my kind of people.
It's about your age, too.
He's about my age. Yeah. Throws way harder than I do, but I mean, I really like him. Is he a little bit salty? What's he been like?
So I haven't really had a chance to get to know him
sure.
until like a couple weeks ago, but he started in LA on Saturday. It rained in LA, was honestly rude. And he was actually shoving, but the first inning, you're facing Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, like lights out. And they responded with 3 straight singles. So bases loaded already, no outs, top of the first. And the Cardinals, by the way, struck out in order to start the game for the second game in a row.
Bobby Miller.
Yeah, Bobby Miller and then Yamamoto. Just straight up,
That's right.
good morning, good afternoon, good night. So Twitter It's like, well, this is it.
This is it.
This is it. It's top of the first.
Let's get 4-0 like that.
Exactly. And Lance Lynn comes back and then strikes out the 4th, 5th, and 6th hitter.
Yeah, it's pretty
and
cool.
then walks off the mound and unleashes a string of words I cannot say on this radio.
Sure.
And it fired me up. I was like, oh, this is it's Lance Lynn, but this is different for the Cardinals lately. And then post game, I had the chance to ask him about that opportunity, and I was like, I wonder if I tee this guy up if he'll deliver.
He did.
Yes.
Yeah.
F-bomb on the post game live TV.
Let it rip.
Got a nice little. Really, Katie, you wanted to do that? I'm like, oh, I didn't say it. Good TV though.
F it, let it rip.
Yeah.
It was my favorite.
Jackson
quote.
Merrill got a little NSFW on his home run. Did you see that?
No,
as he
I
crossed
did not.
home plate,
Yeah.
bled over onto the television broadcast.
I did not.
Right as he was crossing home plate, I was looking towards family, or his girlfriend, or somebody in the crowd. Down there in the Lexus Club, and you could see it.
Double
very
F-bombs.
quick. Let's effing go.
How do you double F-bombs?
Twice. He just said it.
FF?
Let's go. Let's effing go. Let's go.
Okay.
Go.
All right.
He was very excited.
I heard Nolan. He yelled F last night.
I think I heard Nolan.
My 6-year-old is now
From the press box.
saying F-bombs.
He did that. Well,
thank him for me.
I will do that.
For teaching him the F-bomb.
Nolan Arnott inspired
that
America.
He's never heard.
All right, one more time out. We'll come back with one more segment of Katie Wu, and I am going to ask you, and this will be strictly confidential. We will not tell anybody else. But your real thoughts about St. Louis Cardinals fans, the best fans in baseball.
By
and we
name.
won't tell anybody. Don't worry.
Trying to get her killed?
Coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Cash in on basketball's big moments with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Use code KWFN for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
She's getting rave reviews in the chat. Says Katie's baseball knowledge is tier 1. I believe that. Joey wants to know what size ring do you wear?
I don't know, Joey, do you have a boat?
He does not. I know, Joey, he does not have a
If
boat.
you do not have a boat, I don't think it's going to work.
Is that like Now, you live in St. Louis. There's a lot of lakes, I would imagine.
Yes.
But you want somebody here with a boat.
Correct. So get on it, Joey, and then call me.
All right, Joey, because I know Joe. I play ball with him.
Oh,
He does
okay.
not have a boat.
What's your analysis of St. Louis cuisine? They've got the Italian on the hill. I've been there.
That's actually really good.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Really good. I'm not going to be allowed back in St. Louis after I say this.
The barbecue?
Barbecue's fine.
Okay.
But I'm so out on Emo's Pizza. Okay,
I don't know what that
picture
is.
this. Picture
Emo's
this.
Pizza.
You're having a night out with some friends. Perhaps some beverages were shared.
Sure.
You're maybe not in the most coherent state.
Sure.
What fixes that? A 2 a.m. pizza. So it's a great idea when that's recommended. I don't know what got delivered, but it was like this thin crust. And I'm not a thin crust hater,
pizza.
but
It's like, picture like a matzo cracker
Yeah.
with ketchup.
Provel cheese.
Ketchup and
Ketchup.
cheese on it. It's
And I
not.
took a bite and I was like,
If you don't eat it drunk, it can't be that
exactly.
good.
That's what I was thinking, and I'm so out on it. So apologies, St. Louis. The T-Ravs, the toasted raviolis, those are actually good. They're
I like
like,
those too.
those are good.
Yeah.
So you win some, you lose some.
What did you you wanted to make a stop when you got here yesterday? You went down to the ballpark and you texted me, and you said, "Is Lolita's closed?" And I said, "It is." And you said, "I'm going back to St. Louis." That was a place that you enjoyed by the ballpark.
Other Lolitas remain open.
They
the
do.
ballpark
But this was
location.
accessible.
That's the accessible
I was
one.
gonna have a burrito for dinner,
Yep.
and everything was ruined.
Yeah, it ruined it for you.
Just pour one out for Lolitas. That
Yeah.
was so sad.
It was a very cute. Paulie and I had many a business lunch at Lolita. Many,
How could you
like
not?
probably 10 business lunches there. And,
total.
we'd go down to the field and go grab a burrito before we went home. It didn't tell our wives we ate a burrito. We came home for dinner.
Can we
That's
interest
how-
you in a golden sombrero bucket instead from Rick's Baja Cantina? Lobster tails, crab, shrimp, steak, corn,
Chicken.
Caesar salad,
and
chicken, fried
ice
ice
cream.
cream. Yeah.
Oh.
They gave us one on opening day, and we mounted down.
Well, yeah.
It was delicious.
Never met a challenge you didn't like.
It was delicious. It was delicious.
It's really meant for at least 2 or 3 people,
Yeah.
but you can probably tackle that on your own.
Yep.
If you believe you can achieve, so.
Very conveniently located next to the ballpark
That's right.
as well.
That's right.
All right, we got to check traffic one more time, and then I will not make Katie go on record about the St. Louis Cardinals fans. Of course
I
she
do.
does. Of
I have
course
a
she
job
does.
because of them.
We'll do that right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Just a couple problems wrapping up our morning drive. Eastbound 8 before the 163 collision over to the right shoulder, and south 163 near Washington Street, an accident being cleared out of lanes. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Brandon in the chat wants to know how Mark Sweeney is doing, our former television analyst.
He's mine now.
Yes, he has moved on to St. Louis as part of the vast crew of Cardinals broadcasters.
Yes, I have not seen him yet, but I'll see him Thursday, the home opener. Pretty excited. I really like the Cardinals broadcasters. You guys are in a great spot
Yes.
with who you have, that whole squad. But I think the Cardinals broadcast team, some of my best friends. I joke to my friends in California when the season starts, like, the people I talk to the most are old enough to be my dad.
Yeah.
But those are my best friends during the season.
Yeah,
so.
they're awesome here. I mean, we're completely spoiled. I love going to the ballpark. I do, but I always feel if I'm not catching it on the radio or I'm not catching it on TV that I missed something. Like
Exactly.
I missed a part of what makes it so great. And who are the main broadcasters for the Cards?
TV's Chip Carey and Brad Thompson.
I mean, the same thing, right?
just
Chip Carey. Like, you feel like you're
iconic.
missing something. You're missing out on something if you're not watching the broadcast.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So
And now, is Chip's son, he's a broadcaster now too, right?
yes.
How
So,
did he get that gig, I wonder?
yeah, he's the Oakland. So the A's hired Jenny Cavnar.
Oh,
from
yeah,
Chip,
and
so
they
I
also
love that.
hired-
And they hired Chris, who was Chip has twin sons. So Chris is also on that broadcast, and then Stefan, his twin, is doing Sod Poodles.
Nice.
Oh, Sammy's old.
Sammy
job.
Lev.
Sammy Lev is
Exactly,
a
we're all
Sod
connected.
Poodles
And you know what? I need to
announcer.
shout out our beloved
This
Sammy
made me
Lev.
so happy this morning.
He's the best.
We're at the ballpark. We're at a short series, and we didn't really get a chance to hang out. So he said, well, if you're going on Ben and Woods tomorrow, I'll pick you up. I'll give you a drive. We'll get a coffee on the way there, and I'll drop you off. And just, what a gem.
He's a gem.
He was there right on time, and which is great, because if he was late, I was going to blame it on him. And we got a coffee. It was a beautiful morning, and dropped me off here, and just round of applause for sweet spring training Sammy. Just incredible.
It's in-season Sammy now.
Oh, yeah. In-season Sam, even better than spring training.
Sadly, he's taken. He has a girlfriend.
He does have a girlfriend now.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm happy for him.
Power couple, though, could have been. Katie Wu and Sammy
Levitt. Oh, my.
He's going to text me immediately. Maybe he's even going to come on the chat and be like, everybody chill.
Just crushing baseball content. It's morning, noon, and night. It would be amazing. Now, he's been such a great addition to our team. We adore Sammy Levitt, and has been since the day he's got here. He's been phenomenal. Yeah. Phenomenal.
Jimmy suggests the newest Ben and Woods segment. Who can woo Katie Woo?
Please no.
Oh, yes! Now we're talking.
I'm never coming back.
Speaking our language. The music.
Oh my God.
Funny thing is, I don't think my wife would mind very much. I think she would understand. Like, they have to do it for the radio.
Hannah, I'm sorry.
Have you ever wanted to be a stepmother? Because I've got to. You've seen my kids; they're beautiful.
You can't do any better
I know.
than what you have right now.
So true.
His kids are pretty. I have great kids, but they're 20 and 18, so they're not really cute little
they're
children
like little
anymore.
Men
they're
running
just
around.
adults, basically.
Think about it. Stepmother Katie.
Only if I'm marrying Hannah in this
Correct.
situation.
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
So you're out. You're out.
All the way in on the whole thing. I'm very progressive.
Love that about
more
you.
more so than she is. Very progressive human being here. Whew, that was great.
All right, let's see.
Thanks for making it uncomfortable, Ben.
What else do we have? Katie, do you
He's got a knack for doing that?
Do you
doesn't he?
follow other sports in baseball? Do you have any time? Do you have any fandom outside of the baseball world?
Yeah, big Blues fan.
Oh, I love a Blues game.
Do you?
Here's the thing about hockey.
You like to drink beer, so that's why.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole reason why hockey was invented.
That's
'Cause
right.
You just show up and you're in this ice box for 3 hours,
And you just get hammered.
and beers never get warm,
Yep.
and you just crush Bud Select.
Yeah. Oh,
and
love
I,
it.
you know, it's a layup. And when there's a goal, first of all, you never see it coming because I'm never paying attention. I have no idea what's
And
going
it's
on. in
hard,
hockey.
even if you are, it's hard to see.
I can't see.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to my glasses. Are you kidding me?
Right.
So then it's like a big explosion, and then another beer. Yeah. It's amazing. I love
Is it
hockey.
a faux pas to drink anything other than Bud in St. Louis?
I feel like they don't sell anything.
They don't
but
sell
Bud
it.
Light
They ain't
does.
allowed.
I
You
mean,
can't
here
order.
you've got to drink like craft IPA or
Well,
your
fair,
party
right?
foul because we're San Diego, IPA capital of
I
the
drink
world.
Bud all
If
the
you're
time.
in Milwaukee, you got it's Miller, right?
Yes.
So, but Bud all over.
I don't
the
think I've
place.
ever seen a Coors Light in the state of
Clydesdales
Missouri.
on every street corner.
Exactly.
I love it. I would fit great in St. Louis. I
St.
really
Louis,
would.
honestly, it really has grown on me, you guys.
Has it?
Because it's baseball and beer. I mean, what
Yeah.
else? What else can you do?
Now Ben did ask you about the fans, and they get, and I think it's definitely fair for every fan base. There's some people that I see on a nightly basis interacting with you, and even interacting with me too, and it's like. You've watched baseball before, yes? Like
to be fair, I don't think they're any worse than other fan bases. I sometimes push back on the
best fans
what seems
in the
to be
world.
the self-proclaimed best baseball fan base in America thing. That
why? What is the impetus? I mean, they hadn't had a losing season until last year.
That's
you
the
said
team. That's not
17.
the fans.
No. But if your team doesn't lose a lot, you tend to be in a better mood.
For sure.
Right?
I mean,
so
allegedly.
Allegedly. Last year for the fan base had to be excruciating. It was excruciating here to come in and cover and try to be positive sometime, and other times want to just throw the computer out the window. Last year had to be particularly rough for them. They were not used to getting punched in the mouth like that.
And that's the thing. No, when I go to the ballpark or I see Cardinals fans around town, they're awesome. They are just so lovely. And again, I don't have a job without this fan base.
Right.
I don't.
Same.
So I feel lucky to have such a passionate fan base that is so invested in this ball club. And at the same time, the last time the Cardinals had lost 90 games, I wasn't even alive.
Yeah.
So this fan base didn't know how to lose. And I can't really blame them for freaking out because it didn't happen like that in St. Louis. And when you go and ask people in the organization, they share the same sentiment. They were like, we didn't know what to do. And I can understand that. And fans are supposed to be fanatical. I can't actually imagine anything worse than writing for a fan base that doesn't care.
That's apathetic.
I would rather go back and forth.
And that's what started
right?
happening here last year was people were just kind of like, whatever. Like
That's the
going down
worst.
that road and we're like, this sucks.
The apathy was tough.
I would take passion,
And
whatever
insanity,
direction, over apathy any day of the week. So, yes, do I sometimes pick some targets on Twitter to just fire off at? Yeah, it's fun.
I do. I enjoy it
Don't
too.
dish it out if you can't take it, right?
That's
Because
exactly
I can
right.
take it. It's part of the job. But I really, really feel grateful to write for this fan base because, again, without them, I don't have a job. And I mean, the whole reason I think I'm still here was because they pay to read it and they pay to subscribe because they care so much. Even last year, when come August, I mean, there was nothing we could talk about that would have made a difference. And they were still engaged. They were still showing up to the ballpark. And I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're knowledgeable about the game, I think. But so are Padres fans, for the most part.
sure.
It's not a
and so are
knock
most
on
fan
Padres.
bases.
It's not a knock on to call them the good fan base doesn't mean that we're bad.
No, I'm just saying that it doesn't make Cardinals fans extra special because they know baseball. I mean, a lot of fans know baseball. Right. That's why they like going to baseball games. Right. I don't know that Dodgers fans all really know baseball.
I agree with that.
They just seem
sentiment.
A lot
show
of
up and fill
shallow
that
fly
place.
balls over the weekend.
Yes.
You would have thought were homers. And, it's so loud there already, so I'm like trying to focus and I hear the crowd. And with that lineup, any ball could leave the park at any time.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a pop out to
a
shortstop.
lazy fly ball, my friends. Now they do get excited.
There's a lot of them out
nothing wrong
there,
with
the
that.
Dodgers fans, so I'm sure there are knowledgeable ones. But
Absolutely.
I think the bulk is just filled up with there's just not great baseball fans. I'm
They like the
sorry. I
hats.
just feel like that.
I know.
I just think social media also really
It brings out the worst.
so you got to take that, and I focus more on the in-person interactions, the people that are paying to read. Social media it can be great, and it can also be a very scary place. So
Barry. Yeah, when you start getting hate mail sent to you, which I've had 4 letters sent to me, it's not the most
it's very
fun.
normal behavior.
It's completely normal behavior. Then you look at the hate mail and go, wow, you can't even do hate mail right. I mean,
what does that say about you?
I'll show you a picture of it. It's like the worst thing you've ever seen.
Don't show it to her.
I can't show it.
Don't show it to her.
It's
bad.
disgusting.
It's really bad. It's
Okay.
gross.
Well, now I kind of.
Well, I'll pull it up.
Okay.
I'll show it to you. Well, you can do it after the show.
Don't do it. Yeah, please don't do it now.
You don't want to put it in the chat?
You don't want to put it in the chat.
Okay.
It's definitely
That's how
not.
you get banned.
Yeah, even on YouTube, that would be a bad thing to show in the chat.
All right, just vamp for a minute.
Well, we've got Annie and Elston who are coming up next. If you love baseball, knowledgeable women like Katie Wu, you're going to love Annie Heilbrunn, who's
She's the best.
Coming up next with Craig Elston. You and Annie go way back?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when I interned here in 2018, Annie was the first woman that reached out and was like, how can I help you?
She's great like
and
that.
you never forget stuff like that. And every time I see her, I just feel like it's like a ray of sunshine walking into the room. So
It's-
big Annie fan over here.
I think it's obviously can be hard for women in baseball.
It is.
I mean, there are some opportunities as well, but I don't think a lot of people understand the challenges of how difficult it must be to have to go into a clubhouse, locker room filled with almost all guys, and have to do that job on a daily basis.
The worst part about it is no one ever has any lip gloss I can use.
Yeah, that's exactly
Come
right.
on.
You're like on an island.
I walk in and I'm like, oh, I forgot to do my mascara. Oh, no one's going to have any for me here.
That being said, men, it's this isn't a contest, but last night, so we posted a video of us warming up for first pitch, and I got a DM from a guy that watched Ben's throw, and he goes, "How am I supposed to take his baseball opinion seriously?" And I said, if you gave Jeff Passan a ball, he's not going to look good throwing it
have 80
either.
grade mechanics,
Like
right?
John Clayton, the late great John Clayton. He's not going to know how to tackle like
What does
a
he know
linebacker.
about
What does he
the
know about?
trenches?
Yeah, being in the trenches. The guy was 5'3", 110 pounds. I defended you.
Thank you. I
Good
appreciate
teamwork.
it.
And I said, don't worry about Ben. Ben's going to be just fine. And as he likes to say, you were a pitcher.
I did. I pitched when I growing up until about age 15 or 16.
When we were
but
throwing,
now
he goes,
I can't throw
this
at
is
all.
weird. I can't throw. I was a
It's been
pitcher.
so long.
I said, it's been 40 years
You
since
lose the
pitched.
form.
Well, I personally am so excited for tonight, you guys. And in case anyone was unaware how big of an event this is, The Athletic, which we're lucky if we have one person on site, will have 3 reporters for tonight's first pitch.
That's right. Eno, I forgot about Eno.
Eno's going to be down there.
Eno,
We're
Dennis,
dead.
and I, we are here. I think my pitch for our coverage today is like each writer gets
one
person.
Embedded.
Yeah,
Right.
embedded.
Exactly. So look forward to that, the deep dive, some analysis. No pressure or anything, guys, but I cannot wait.
You
I love
crushed
when the
it.
stars align.
Thank you so much
for coming
You
by.
guys are the best. Thank
Fantastic
you.
hour. All right, that is it for us. Annie and Elston are coming up next for the following 4 hours. We will see you tonight out at the ballpark. Get your ponchos. Catch Ben and Woods. Be gentle to us. For executive producer Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Tuesday from all of us at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.